or is it more that they were just like, we're gonna win this game regardless, so they're just kind of like going for hero plays? I'm really hoping it was more of like they just kind of were confident they were going to win, because they're not going to get away with that against a team maybe like Envy or 100 Thieves later. I think they got it. Envy was considered like 2 weeks ago the #1 team, so it's hard to write them off. And I want to say Sentinels, but I really hope that ult usage I saw that last week has been cleaned up. So I'm going to go Sentinels.
Like it.
Okay, I like this because it changes things up, Flats, because Cozy and I actually had our own separate predictions here too, and they looked almost identical. So hearing you say Sentinels, okay, breath of fresh air here. Gonna take over the next set too, though, but with 100 Thieves versus Shroud X coming up right after that. What's your thoughts and opinions on that one?
I gotta go 100 Thieves. I mean, 100 Thieves I think was like the #1 team until last week, where FlyQuest went crazy. They won the previous tournament as well. So they're always just a top team, always top contenders. So you can't write them off, especially after having a week of practice and being able to go back maybe to the drawing board on a couple of things. If they were, maybe they learned some stuff from the FlyQuest matches. And Shroud X, honestly, can I just gotta say, I'm actually really happy for Shroud X, because when I first started watching last week, I saw people come on and a lot of people were shit talking them. They were saying they weren't good, they were gonna get 0-4'd, and then they went on to like not lose an entire match for like 4 or 5 games straight. So I'm really happy to see what kind of run that they've been on, but I still got to give it 100 Thieves. I'm sorry.
Great, I love it, I love it. And then we've got our last matchup is Nemesis versus Ego Death. Ego Death, the fun, the dive squad. They were like probably the most surprising team of the tournament to start out there. What's your thoughts on that? The winner of group stage, Group A, the Group of Death, or Group B, or Ego?
I want to see Ego Death. I want to see Ego Death do it. I like that team. Their interviews won me over. I gotta go with Ego Death. Even though I think it's a bit of an uphill battle for him, I want to see Ego Death, so I'm going to go for it.
Love it, dude. Thank you for giving your predictions to us. This is what we had. You were different, obviously, versus we had Envy. You going with the ladder, love that. And then Ego Death. What a spicy big man. That's that would be one way to kick off the playoffs here as they're trying to fight or land. Well, listen, man, as we look at our predictions and go to you, I've got a couple questions for you, okay? You're a streamer. You almost qualified to get in here for Ignite. You guys are close over there. I've got to ask you, what's harder? Playing on a big stage like that, or trying to manage your chat backseat gaming over there? Which one's harder?
If we're talking mentally, definitely the chats. If we're talking like just playing in, yeah, we got to be locked in for those tournaments. And I'm getting up there. I feel like I'm getting a little old now. It's hard to keep up with these younger whippersnappers. They're a little quicker on the draw, and I kind of have to just be like, hey, like, how did you guys figure this out? Tell me how you did it. Like, how did you like, we had some insane little strats. Like Gaspin taught me a lot from our time in the tournament, so I appreciated all of them. All of my teammates were awesome. But honestly, I think I enjoy this side a little bit more these days, where the co-streaming, just having a good time with it. It's way less stressful. Although sometimes I regret reading, especially TikTok chat. I see things there that no one should ever see.
The Wild West. That's where, again, whippersnappers is a term I haven't heard in a decade. Thank you for bringing that back. I love it. Listen, one more. Okay, I got another one for you. If you had to lock in one hero for 8 hours straight, who is it? And if you could banish one hero from the roster, who would it be?
I'm banishing Wolverine no matter what. Don't care. I don't think I have anything else to be said.
That was your answer. I knew it.
If I'm locking one hero for 8 hours, I feel like I'd stay the most sane on Strange, but I'd have the most fun on Captain America. So I'm going to lock it in. I'm going Captain America.
I like it.
All right. So going back to our predictions, man, if there was one team, because the way that you highlight Ego Death, it gave me thought, if there was one team that would cause an entire upset here and you would want them to sit in the grand finals right now, what team would it be?
I like Ego Death a lot. I don't know if I could even pretend I could see them going all that far, because there's just so many good teams. I would love to see. I think I'd love to see Sentinels go all the way to the finals. I think I'm maybe a bit biased in that department, but I think that would be a fun one. Or I just honestly, I would love to see at some point a rematch of FlyQuest and 100 Thieves. I just like seeing good matches, and I think that's probably the best potential.
True.
And then also I think one of these guys is gonna get really good really soon, because I don't know who's gonna beat Virtus Pro over from the EU side. They just look unbeatable. So they gotta start really getting it together over here.
Rude.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I mean, that's what LAN's gonna bring, right? We can finally see some of these top squads, and 3 make it from America. I think 2 make it from EMEA. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, the matches between the 2. I got 2 final one quick answer questions here. First of all, if you could have any character coming with season 3 in a couple weeks, but you know, moving past season 3, one Marvel hero that can come to the game, your choice. You get to pick the flat special. Who is it?
We did this to me last time, and I had to admit on broadcast that I wasn't super well versed in the universe, and I was trying to figure something out. And I think on the fly I just said Deadpool. I feel like I could cop out and just go with that again, but I think a Thanos season would be pretty funny, so I'm gonna change my answer to that.
I like it. I like the Thanos, but yeah, you go around collecting all the Infinity Stones while your team's like battling it out on the point or something. That could work out. Final question for you. I've heard it on stream. I got to hear it here. You said Dr. Pepper is truly overrated. Actually, I think is the term. Is that your belief? Is that a statement from you?
Oh yeah, for sure. Dr. Pepper is. Okay. I don't know. I don't want to drink pepper. I mean, it's not actual pepper, but you know, I don't. Spicy drinks are just not that great. I think you should have spice, and then you get rid of the spice with the drink, you know? Just it's just not. I don't like it. I think it's very overrated.
Hey, you had some other hot takes today. You know, that's another one there, you know, with a lot of America. I like to hear it, buddy. Listen, if you guys want to hear more of those hot takes and this man co-cast alongside us, get your magic drops with him. It's a good time. Again, I've hung out there and had a good time myself. Flats, again, just fun talking to you again face to face. Hopefully I can do more of it here in the future.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah,
thanks,
absolutely, man. Have a good one. Good luck out there.
You too. Bye-bye.
Alrighty, guys, that was the man, the myth, the legend, Flats himself, and telling you, just a fun time to watch him as a fellow content creator. Just been fun to, you know, to see the content he's putting out there, tier list, see the comments. It's always just chaos out there. But Vicky, either way, we've got ourselves, as he said it, we had some hot takes, but honestly, I also think they could just be based just by how close these teams are going to be in their matchups and what we look at, you know, as we head towards the first one.
Dude, I love listening to Flats and his opinions on things too. He's just got that cadence. Don't forget, guys, to show your support to Flats. He's definitely streaming right now. That's why I mentioned the Spider-Man. He was stalking up behind the rocket for a solid minute before he decided to attack. But I'm excited. I'm excited to dig into all the action that we're about to have here, Cozy. Let's get it started, man. Playoffs.
Yeah, here we go. And guys, listen, the new pick and ban system.
Oh my God.
People, but over all of the
That's
regions,
insane.
This was insane to look at. These are all the heroes and their total ban amount. So Loki across all regions taking first place. I know Emma Frost in America, I believe, was first place. But Loki first there. Magneto, obviously a lot of those tanks that we saw early on. And as Flat said,
that's insane.
Punisher and the newest Ultron. Vicky, pretty interesting on the ban side here.
Yeah, of course, the Punisher just allowing itself to have a lot more range against these flyers have been pesky in disguise. The Ultron, though,
that's insane.
The cherry on top, in my opinion, too, because I remember when everyone was looking at Ultron, it was a complete write-off of, oh, it's not going to be enough healing situation, it's going to be another Mantis out here. Yet, when you have that power-up either with Iron Man or even just standalone in a triple support composition, it's shown just how powerful it is. But I think the one pick that surprised both of us the most, Cozy, has to go towards the Torch.
Yeah, Human Torch has been everywhere, and oftentimes we saw it with Nemesis, the player, the team with the better Torch, ended up getting the dubs. Again, he's just been a monster impact for just pressure, positioning, and combinations in the ults there. But looking at the bans across the game modes, again, this is now for America. You're seeing Emma at the top of this list. Loki often. You see a lot of these kind of core healing strategists leading the pack here, and then some to follow that on Convoy. And Wolverine, Vicky, I gotta say, and Flat said it himself. He said if he could pick one hero to banish, it'd be Wolverine. We're seeing that here. The team that bans Wolverine is typically having success if they have access to him as well.
Yeah, actually, I feel like you talked to Energy specifically about going to map-specific situations where the Wolverine comes into play. Just looking at what is locked into just kind of gives you that hint. And Wolverine in itself, if you've played ranked, you understand the type of problem Wolverine is, especially when it comes to game-making opportunities. It literally leans into a win condition if you get that one huge kidnap.
And again, yes, I mean, looking into it, Energy saying it best, you know, the game is won with picks and bans. And the picks here, the locks, the saves, showing a little bit of a different story, obviously, because it's going to be what we saw. We started to see teams also lock in whoever their best player duelist was. We've got some duelist bans that we continue to see as well. So it's going to make for an interesting story. Again, different than ladder. These teams are going to be picking for their team and then banning against their team. And so if they ban Wolverine, they can still access it themselves if you are new and coming just for the playoffs here. But we start things off with the big one, Vicky. FlyQuest, the winners, and the 8 seed. And honestly, they don't want to be called underdogs, all right? They don't call them it to their face. They think they're ready for this matchup. And FlyQuest on one of the biggest victories yet. I mean, just check out the results from it. Yeah, we had kind of our upset there at the beginning with Ego Death going 0-2 or 2-0 on them. Ever since then, really, it's been lights out.
Yeah, and then on the other side, Techie getting double eliminated by Shroud X2, hopefully figuring out what they need to do, because they say to everybody, they said it on our interview, don't sleep on us, like you're gonna remember why we have our name out here, but they have to put in the results, and FlyQuest being the first competitors that you have to deal with now in the playoffs bracket is definitely gonna be a testament here.
Yeah, taking out Citadel Gaming, Dark Zero, both really good teams. You know, Shroud X does have, you know, seem to have their number on the first couple games there. But either way, they might be seated low, but they've got the fire, the pace, and the chip on their shoulder to make things interesting and fast. And hey, FlyQuest, they were out round 1 last time. You know, maybe they're comfortable in the lower bracket. You know, who knows what we'll have to see here. I know that we've got a lot of favor for them. And again, here is their roster. Now, I do believe Audios will be in there instead of Light, just as we've seen in the past. Maybe it'll surprise us here on air, but we expect that going in. But Vess and my goodness, Spark Chief, some of the best Vanguards in the business. I had the privilege of talking to Energy. He backs up his team all the way, and it was our forecasters kind of duelist of the week. This team has it all.
That's why when I take a look at this lineup here and what we've already seen from FlyQuest, man, they're all so good and they all bring out something completely different, very flexible. And then you look at Techie and you see the comparison between FlyQuest and Techie. This is going to be basically like the battle of the Psylocks between Energy and Tap specifically. And seeing how that's going to work into even the ban systems, because obviously if you have these strong Psylocks coming out, you have to imagine what the Emma Frost is going to incorporate with the team up too.
Yeah, if you guys want to see some of the best Psylocke action in the world, get your friends that play Psylocke. If you want to learn, it's going to be Tap versus Energy himself. We expect to see a lot of that. Avery, great flyer as well. Avery has been able to really support, depending on how Tap's able to pop off, support in the air. That's the flyer of the team. But don't sleep on the strategists on both sides. Obviously, Cooper putting up insane numbers on FlyQuest, and Ad has been doing insane on the part of Techie. So altogether, a lightning and electric matchup between the two teams. And listen, we've seen a little bit of everything from both of them. We've seen things of triple res to Captain America going crazy on the Vanguard play. And then FlyQuest, they pride themselves in being diverse, and they've definitely showed it.
Yeah, you talk about some crazy matchups. The Brute versus Spark Chief matchup is going to be also interesting, right? You talk about the possible big plays of Captain America if we don't see Magneto coming to fruition. Then you have Spark coming out on the Hulk. It's going to be a great time because this also brings two teams together that get to play into their strength that other teams aren't leaning into what is different, more so leading into what is safe.
Well, guys, it all starts here right now. And again, we are in the new build. So Moonknight, he might make an appearance. Thor, the new and improved Thor. We've got team ups that have been
Ooh, they're late.
NATO, the Hawkeye Luna. Things have changed as we head into domination to kick
Ban
off
Emma,
these
ban
teams.
Torch,
And
ban
listen,
Emma, save
same as
Mag.
last week, Emma Frost to make history
Save
repeat
Mag.
itself.
Okay, there you go. That's what starts
Pretty
things off.
straightforward.
I'm not surprised. I mean, do you really want to deal with the mental projection team up with the Psylocks that we know that are probably going to
Loki
come
ban.
out
That's
in
good.
full play as the double protection on the Magneto? It's what we're going to first see for our first map on Domination.
Yeah, FlyQuest right
Torch
away.
ban,
making sure
Psylocke
Avery
ban.
does not have access to that human torch. These teams are locked in. And look at that. The respect, the tip of the cap to Tap.
Save
Curious
Loki.
if this goes back, because if Tap doesn't have Psylocke,
Save Loki.
but Energy does, that's going to be nice for them.
Please
Energy
save
also
Loki.
could be playing Wolverine, so we might see that. Human Torch elected to not be there. So just looking at what
up,
FlyQuest plays, I'd be pretty pumped if I were there with
76?
what they
I
have
don't know if I
available
said
at the moment.
Ultron save, that's
Okay,
good.
now looking on the other side here, at least working.
I would've liked a
for
Loki save
Techie.
instead,
It's gonna be the
I
third
think.
ban, the triple ban back to back here.
Would've been a lot
that Red
better.
Team usually hasn't. It looks like the mutual
Psylocke
respect
ban.
is given.
There it is.
No Psylocke from either side. So you know, I love how we hint this at the Battle of the Psylocks, but this is what our advanced ban system really
Save
provides
Punisher.
too,
They saved
as
Mag,
they
it's
save
fine.
the Punisher, expecting the flyers from
I
FlyQuest.
I was about
Josh,
to expect,
76E831 over on YouTube. What's up?
Psylocke tap plays Punisher, and it's
Storm
gonna be
ban, that's
Wolverine
fine.
on the side of them. Avery though leans on the Flyers. There's now no Human Torch, no Storm. Great strategic banning. One thing that opens up though with both these teams, Luna's available. They can go Luna. You see a lot of strategists being banned. Not this time around. They kind of have their pick outside of Loki there on the side of FlyQuest.
Okay, so having the strategist out to play here, the Loki to
Solo
prevent any sort of dive
Wolf.
shenanigans as well here too. But looking like we get to lean onto that Wolverine pick that we were
With the
highlighting
team
too,
up, that's pretty
as
good. That's pretty
Energy
good.
has been able to come out not only on the
Good.
Wolverine,
I love
the
Punisher.
Torch, and
It's
the
fine. Double
Psylocke.
hit
Obviously,
scan
we're not gonna be
for
running that
Flyer.
Torch or Psylocke here in this equation.
Fine.
Yeah, here, guys. Now, again, if you don't know, best of 3, first to 2. The first map's always domination. The loser gets a pick between Convoy and Convergence. So that is what we will see as we start off in Wakanda. We may not have any Black
What's
Panther
up?
now,
Appreciate
but
you stopping by.
we will have some
Oh
later
my
for you.
God.
That's what you're looking for as we have the flyover
Grab my
of
phone.
this gorgeous Marvel location, home of the Vibranium.
Yeah, if
And,
the stream looks
listen,
terrible,
I saw teams
that's
log
out of
in
my
already.
control.
We've got the cap on the side of Blur, and we have the good old
Because I'm watching a
Green Energy
1080p
and
stream
Death
with
Back to Magneto.
terrible
Exactly
resolution,
what
therefore
worked
it's
for
gonna come
them
back
in group
even
stage.
worse.
Let's get this started here. Trying to kick off our playoffs now for our first match.
7 to 13%, that's not bad.
Let's not forget.
I've done like
you guys get
a
to
probably
submit your
80,
own votes.
80
Which
20
team will win
instead.
match number 1? You guys can then check down
It looks
below.
so bad,
Try
the
to
quality.
see whether you agree with us here. FlyQuest with that 80.
480.
FlyQuest
Why are we
with
on
that 87%
480p?
huge lead versus the techie expectations.
Yeah, the house odds like to fly here, 87%. This would be quite the bracket.
That guy's
breaker
out.
if Techie can get it done here. As Blur's kicking things off here, trying to get himself a little bit back.
In terms
on
of
the back line.
strategist
The team is
ultimates,
left
I mean, we
somewhat
have Luna
limited.
Loki, so in theory this comp should be winning. But we are playing the Wolf. He's probably dead.
And already trying to find the team
Yeah.
now before diving into protection too, coming in from the Hulk that we mentioned from Spark,
I mean,
as Brute is the first one to
never mind, I
go
lied.
down.
They're
FlyQuest
triple
having
strategists. They have
Mantis as they start
Luna,
closing in the gap
Cloak,
here.
and Ultron. When I look at the draft in general, FlyQuest looks better. Yeah, appreciate it.
Spark Chief just going crazy on the Gamma God that we've seen in Hulk, but Tap electing to play Hella from the flank angle. I like that. Energy's gonna have to keep an eye on him if he plans to not let him get too many picks here. But right now they let
They
FlyQuest
capped.
get the point, and that's gonna be rough
That's
for the open.
big.
Yeah, imagine being on the right here on the Ultron, and you're looking at Tap being on the Hella, and then Avery being on the Punisher. 2 hit scans that could definitely try to deal with you, but luckily on this round though, you have these 2 walls to work off of as Energy falling a little bit low.
Nice.
Determination though is gonna be able to bring him right back to health.
Audios already back.
Nice shots.
Tap again if he's left unchecked there from the side, and the Goddess of Death is gonna
He's probably
bring
dead, though.
down the other villain in Ultron.
Alive.
Gearing Extermination is huge. Avery now with that final judgment, getting a pick on Vest. Energy getting a pick in return, but it's
That was a
not
very
looking
late
pretty
ult
as
by
well.
Cooper.
Just trying to keep things
That was
stalled
very
alive,
bad,
but this looks like Techie
actually.
can get this point back.
At least they stalled for as long as possible. They're nearing that
For
35%.
insta-TPing?
They're gonna be able to now flip the point, and we really get to see some.
Wait, what?
Play some adios.
Yeah, Audios
That's
doing that.
big.
Nope, we're gonna have the port on the point. Instead, we're going right to Namor. This is what they ran a lot of the time in domination, and one of the main teams that did.
It's pretty
We have
good.
Spark Chief on the Hulk, why not, right? The king of the
So we
sea
swap
can do his
Ultron
part
for
with
Namor.
these Gamma Squids. Vest
We
now
have
trying to
team
get
up.
an opening here and get
Team
some,
up. That's
post
fine.
damage as Audios is
In terms of
going to
strategist
try to join
ultimates,
in.
got
Now,
Cloak and
it
Dagger, but we
looks
have
like this
Luna,
team is
so
feeling
Techie
right
wins
where they
that.
left off here. They've got a couple ultimates going into this fight. Wolfels, though, is the one to watch out for.
We've actually seen this from all the
do have Mag
Spark
ult,
too,
so
with that Gamma Squid specifically, so
gonna be big.
this is not unfamiliar territory here, as you're gonna be able to try to recontest. The Meteor is online as well as
Be
Energy.
Hella ult.
About to have
Fine,
that
we're
Wolverine
probably gonna have to
ultimate
get Mag
that
ult.
Tap first activates the Goddess of Death.
We have
Vest
runes
now
though,
from
so
the
it's
skies
fine.
Tries to send the Meteor in the back line, not finding the Loki, as the lamps also come up from both angles.
He should never die. Mag should never die there when we have C&D ult. That's very bad.
Logan himself again, he's not flanking, he's hunting as he goes in, trying to get the pick early. We've got Zealous putting in that eternal bond, getting that pressure going, forcing Wolfels to get the fate of both worlds out there. And right now, Cooper doing the same and matching it. Energy though, is gonna get rid of Tap.
Okay, that's fine.
Ooh, There we go. Not getting that pick now on the Ultron and keeping things spicy.
Almost got the clip off the map, off to the very side here before getting that finishing blow onto Tap. Brute with the slight stun here before Davio sent out the Namor ult. Meteor now called in from Brute.
Ooh.
And still gets that final hit onto Cooper.
Nice shot.
Just trying to hide away from him. Spark also gets a reset with the whole ultimate.
Yeah.
All loops himself and gets the pick there on Luna. Great job from Brute there. Again, 88% Techie looking very comfortable.
FlyQuest is looking very slow right now. In terms of the ultimate usage and when they're using it, like, Bez should never be dying on points when we have a Cloak and Dagger ult there. There is in no world should we ever die. We're playing Cloak and Dagger for the blind and because Loki's banned. But with that ultimate, we can grab a ton of space for Vest to work with, and the fact that he's dying and we haven't even popped it yet doesn't make sense to me. So there's a little weird on the priority of ultimates right now.
Dude, taking a look at Avery though, the Punisher actually being a problem. And if you consider it right here too, that was exactly what they had protected aside from the Magneto.
Not looking good right now. There's like a micro macro thing. Doesn't look good from FlyQuest.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're not even Penny team up at the beginning or using Jeff Bubbles, so kind of bad as well. So you're losing 50 HP. Each time the round starts, you're losing 50 HP for FlyQuest in comparison to Techie. If you look at their HP bars, 50, 50, 50, guys are default. So Micro Macro is doing bad right now.
See the flexibility coming out from Techie. It's not about the flyers here from Avery. It's about being utilized here on the Punisher, setting up in the turret just to build into that ultimate, controlling good amount of space, closer to the pillars.
Damage. We have ulti now though, and we don't have anything for it except for Cloak and Daggers. So in theory, we walk out and we Punisher ult, and we should be able to roll everybody. Watch. He goes down. We should probably be looking at Punisher ult now. No, you don't use it. That's just very bad. That's a lot of hesitation. Because we know that they pop certain ultimates last round. You get your Punisher ultimate, we should be walking out and Punisher ulting right away. And you should be able to use that to get the first fight win and get the cap so we can start building to 100. Decided not to do that. A little interesting. So we're a cap running out, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but I think it's fine because we don't want to use our strategist ultimates. But because he Captain America ulted, we went with the Luna ultimate, which is a little bit questionable. So it's a very good trade for Techie for that.
Yeah, we've got the purple ball up, and unfortunately does not connect.
Hello, ult. Go.
Prince. We have the Meteorium going up. Vest has landed these all day in the group stage, but the Loki Lantern is keeping everybody protected.
He should kill everybody.
Ooh!
Wait. That was a very good place whale. And that was actually insane.
And now it's going to be another team fight win in favor for FlyQuest, and that was Techie utilizing everything basically that had minus Woofles and their own fate of both worlds.
Yeah, a good job Energy making use of those tries by throwing the 2,000 plus pounds, way more than that, of the whale on them and eliminating. They did use a lot of their economy. Woofles does have an ult ready to respond, but for the most part, this map has all belonged to FlyQuest. Good answer back.
The area is almost yours. Is creeping about, is Tap. Nearing that 85% in
actually a very good whale.
But then you have to worry currently about the no more energy in position with those squids. Where the rest
we have
of
Luna.
Continuously press in front of Techie's
We're gonna have Mag. We have Hulk. We have Luna again. Should just like walk over and die.
And not only that, they use the Woofles fate of both worlds. You're gonna want that back as overtime persists. They're putting pressure on, but Tap getting that resurrection is gonna give them the momentum they need. Vicky.
After getting that pick 2 onto Energy, big first pick here just to flip this point. It made Wolfos using that Fate of Both Worlds worth it here in this second round.
I don't really get why we held Mag up there. Now we're using it? That's a fine pick. That's fine. Oh, if he got one more shot. Who are you rooting for? I'm always a fan of underdogs. That was a good bubble by the Mag.
Yeah, nice hiding, a little hide and seek here from Avery the Punisher.
Shotgun. 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 Please use your shotgun.
Comes out from Ad there, the Loki copy that's going to give them all the pressure and sustain.
Portal by Techie. So we're on a 3-minute cooldown now.
Trying to get the most of what he can put out with the Hulk here. Brute now trading with energy, and at this point, momentum going back over to Techie, 23% in climbing.
Don't know how I feel about that play. Jealous. Gonna back. Find the. Again, we're on a 3-minute cooldown for Portal. So you have to hope that we stall for 3 minutes essentially. Gonna have damage whale combo ready to go. Do we have a response? We have Luna ultimate and we have Mag plus Strange. Pretty good ult economy in terms of techie comparison. Almost have. Okay. No one died to that good. We could be looking for an eye here. Actually, we don't even need it. Fine. Blocking the heals. Good. Really good stagger. Very good stagger. Totally. In terms of ult economy, we have max ults pretty much, and we only have 4.
And that's why you're seeing the change too from
or 3. Maybe 4. Techie should win this if they played their cards right and maybe save some for the next round.
Yeah, nobody expected this. Kentucky open up with a 1-0 if they get 2 maps back-to-back. Energy going with the fastball special and going right away, getting hit massively, but the passive is going to keep him nice and safe and cozy as he goes up. Blur now trying to get that pressure.
We're probably going to look for an eye here.
And good job keeping his team alive.
Cooper or Zealous should respond with it. In terms of the eye, we're probably going to support ult now. Yep, but we're probably going to eye this. We should be looking for an eye here. Yep, here it comes. Look at Ultron. Perfect.
Tries to take out Zealous successfully, unable to use that eternal bond. Meanwhile, Cooper trying to keep the team alive. Tapkey now just completely wipe out FlyQuest. Spark is just trying to delay the inevitable. This is not how I expected our
very good
first game of the series.
I'm not a fan of the comp FlyQuest is running. I didn't like that. I think you have to mirror. I think we have to mirror there. It's not very good.
And they're showing why they stun the bracket in an 80% pick so far, and they make it 1-0.
We see the numbers. Let me see the numbers. Please in the numbers, please.
This is best of 3. It makes it a lot easier to just take the series here without a complete reversal situation as we take a look at the stats.
Yeah, listen, I said FlyQuest are comfortable in the lower bracket. Maybe
they just eat damage because of pun. We have to mirror the pun here. I don't think Punisher was banned. No, it wasn't banned, so we had to mirror Punisher. I understand what they're trying to go for, but yeah, I think you just have to mirror.
Techie, that's exactly the start you want.
Why's the quality so bad?
You try to get the meteor multiple times on that Loki who was activated. The lamps, yes, you sometimes.
Yeah, they also left Loki up, so that's a big no-no.
It was just the way that Techie was ready with the retaliation. That biggest indicator, even after making the comeback after losing out on that second round.
Namor's fine.
We saw FlyQuest get to what, like 80% or so.
Namor's fine, but it's just like
and then that complete reversal from
the Punisher is just so prominent in the meta in comparison to Namor. Like, I mean, we also played Wolf, which is fine, but you're playing Wolf into Mag, Strange, who if they get kidnapped, they can fly away or bubble himself or bubble the person getting kidnapped.
everyone getting in. They all get
We
eliminated.
also have
It's just
lamps,
each and every
so
team fight, Techie was
this
able to
doesn't
get
make
the
sense
all-important
why we're not playing
eliminations right before
Punisher
things
on
began or as
FlyQuest's
they
side.
escalated, and Avery definitely was,
I don't
again, that exclamation
really
point on
understand
all
that.
Insanity there with
I think they need to
11
go back to
final
the
hits
drawing
and
board
30K
for that
damage.
one.
They'll get the job done.
What happens when Punisher
Overall, it's a pretty good
skates
fight.
by that ban phase, as well as the Loki too, because the Loki really did provide that extra support. We saw the copy into the fate of both worlds, and we saw the potential to stall and kind of make the Namor useless in terms of setting up with the Gamma Squid.
Yeah, and listen, hey, this happens. Like, whenever you win off and you haven't lost a game in a long time, you get comfortable, and then you get yourself in that kind of winner's quo. Techie, though, going off their last loss being, 2-0'd by Shroud X, they came with a game plan, and it shows here. They've had a week now to get things right, and that's what we've said about them and Ego. We need to see more flexibility from them and just more calm, cool collectness. They've already been on the big stage already, right? Now they're here, and they're not vets, but they've been here, done that. And guys, no one expected it. 80% didn't. Flats called a lot of upsets, but this was not one of them. Don't go anywhere. We have potentially the next match that can send FlyQuest back to their home in the lower bracket. I'm gonna take a quick break.
Yeah, the comp was just not good. I'm just like trying to think what they could have done instead. If you want to, yeah, alright, so if you want to, these are probably gonna be like the best matches. This one is like, it should be 2-0 FlyQuest, but Techie's doing good. They just outdrafted FlyQuest, which is surprising because I don't think Techie has a coach or anything, while FlyQuest has a coach. I'm pretty sure Techie's just a group of friends, so this is questionable to why they're not playing like Punisher in literally the Punisher meta right now. Very weird. You could also play Star-Lord, but you're playing Star-Lord into Hela, so not the best. I don't know. Oh, I really didn't like FlyQuest's comp in that match. I think it was terrible. Unfortunate. Usually they have pretty good comps, so I'm surprised that they went with that. Like when it comes to playoffs, like it's usually the better team that adapts first. So Techie adapted way better than FlyQuest for that match. I just can't believe FlyQuest let Loki go through. That never should be happening. Quite literally the best healer in the game with his runes. Like each time FlyQuest went for a mag ult, like you just pop runes and no one dies. So it's just not good. Hello, hello. What's up? What's up, YouTube chat? What's up, Twitch? Yeah, if you're on YouTube and you want the Magik drops, like for the Magik skin, I have the co-streamer drops on Twitch if you want to check that out. Otherwise, I appreciate you over on YouTube as well. I wonder what FlyQuest picks. I don't think like when they lose what they pick. I'm thinking like a Spider Islands and they hold Bell Tower with a Goats comp. I have a feeling that's what they're gonna do. Or they could pick Yggdrasil. Yeah. Maybe Clintar. I don't know what they play.
What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Techie. They're cooking, and right now the kitchen is closed for FlyQuest as we look at match 1 and the upset. I mean, the bracket breaker could already be here, and the playoffs, it's only been going for like 10 minutes. I mean, I'm blown away right away, Vicky. I saw a lot of things that could have led to that for FlyQuest. Spark Chief, I want a better game out of him. You know, listen, maybe he plays better when he's, you know, staring up at the ceiling in defeat. That's what we, you know, saw last time in the group stage. What did you see, though?
What I'm seeing is a duelist difference between Avery and Tap, which is, I think, really important to highlight that when we last saw Tap basically flex through these different heroes, we saw Tap on the Punisher at one point. We highlighted Avery as this flyer duelist, yet here we are with Avery popping off with like more than double the amount of damage than the other opposing team. Looking at FlyQuest, literally just flying themselves into map number 2 just as quickly as a speed run, because that was crazy. Like, I think it just highlights the flexibility and the homework that has gone into this Techie team.
Yeah, and if you look at the pick and bans, I actually gave the favor to FlyQuest. I think they got what they wanted out of there, but also I think Techie was ready for that. And then, we saw the flip of the duelist and the abilities that we've seen these teams get adjusted to. But listen, we've got so much heading this direction. It's must-watch television here. And while you guys are watching, you can earn yourself a Magik skin for Rivals with Twitch drops exclusive to the Ignite tournament and those that are co-casting as well. And just, you know, you can rock this sick, I love these, by the way, all the characters they've hit so far. I'm hoping they have one for each and every one. But you get to, you know, get a little emote nameplate spray, Vicky.
I love this. I already collected my Will of Gallica Magik skin, so just by watching the tournament, it just takes roughly like 6 hours or so to collect every item, including this new skin, and you have all the way up until July 16th.
Yeah, this is good stuff, guys. So collect it while you can. Go ahead and watch the action unfold and get yourself a Magik skin. Hopefully season 3 around the corner. Maybe you should get some buffs. We'll have to see. But yeah, looking at it with FlyQuest, you know, I interviewed Energy this week and talked to a lot of their players, and there's always somebody that kind of really almost carried or just went all out, all gas, no brakes, whether it was Energy or Vest with those huge ultimates. We didn't really see any of those wow moments.
Yeah, the ults were kind of lackluster in FlyQuest for the map one, I agree.
You know, so I think it's the ultimate battles that came down to it, and it depends what we'll see there. Or maybe just a little bit of that winner's rust. I don't know if you could say that, but we'll have to see.
I feel like just the way that we're currently seeing Energy play, Energy was not allowed to play that game, honestly. Like, domination, I feel like in the earlier rounds of what we've seen from FlyQuest during the group stages, they've fallen against Solaris in map number 1. We saw them fall against Ego Death map number 1, which is kind of a deja vu moment from what we're seeing right here. Leaning into those strengths of FlyQuest, obviously made the comeback. They made the run back for a reason. Now trying to iron things out in another best of 3 situation here, Cozy, moving on to map number 2.
Yep, FlyQuest gets to pick the map. Yggdrasil's Path Convoys, the way they go with, they're going to copy the bans from last time. Emma not available, and we'll see if Techie can do the upset of the tournament. And it only just began, and I guess FlyQuest go home to their home court down there in the lower bracket as we've got that Magneto save right away. Brute played a fantastic one last match.
Wonder if we're gonna be
Loki Convoy.
Yeah, already similar cases here. In this case where we didn't see the torch, are we gonna see that Psylocke ban next? I'm wondering here.
Good bans.
On both Magnetos looks like they're trying to skate by, but
I guess they're really scared to play in a torch.
You know, when you take the strength away from Energy specifically, you're forcing this Wolverine composition, and then you get to really try to focus down on trying to take away those strengths away from FlyQuest.
Yeah, I want to see now if they're
Loki ban. Please ban the Loki.
Also go for the Psylocke here if I had to guess. But then you do give them the option to save Punisher like they did last time. If they ban Punisher here, they're just going to save Psylocke. So either way, they do ban.
This is terrible.
That's going to force Tap to go back.
Like, we're playing Mag. Punisher's okay. I'd rather them get rid of Loki.
But again, you can't ban them all. So I guess Avery then probably shifting to Storm.
See what that final ban's about to be here. And settling on what the next
save Loki? Oh, I mean, it's already banned. What am I saying?
Looking at FlyQuest, believe we did see the Magneto and the Ultron. We noticed
save a healer.
Got nothing done comparatively to the fact
save
that
Psylocke.
the Hela and the Punisher, and there's that safety pick that you were mentioning, Cozy, probably leaning more into that Psylocke.
Yeah, we saw Envy.
That's fine, I guess, but now they just ban a healer.
On the first bit of the map. energy on that Psylocke. They were able to just go crazy. And I'm expecting the Psylocke save for tap. Energy
and a healer.
1v1. He even said in the interview that he respects Psylocke as one
Yep.
of the best, but this is our first time seeing a Psylocke save, funny enough.
Yep. Now you can only ban Loki or Luna.
In the playoffs, Vicky, as Luna is now the ban.
That's what I love about this advanced tournament ban and save system, because then
This is a very good draft.
This is,
This is not
this is what made for so many
like the best healer combo out.
Straight up for the Ignite tournament, saving the Luna though, or rather
They don't have anybody.
It's gonna be big as yes, they get to put the save on the Psylocke. We get to have the Tap V Energy Psylocke 1v1.
The fight in the shadows, Psylocke v Psylocke, that is going to be just entertainment, as we've seen Tap again, just one of the
Captain, I mean, I guess
the dance
that's fine. Now they can't do Captain Psylocke dive, but again, Techie outdrafted FlyQuest again because they didn't ban any healers or save any, and Techie literally gets Loki Luna again.
But I love how we keep highlighting Tap as that one Psylocke player, because correct me if
I wouldn't be surprised if Techie wins this based on the draft here.
In the group stage, so
like this should never be happening here.
Pressure Tap alone as a player could provide on that
I
Psylocke.
don't know what's happening with FlyQuest all of a sudden.
The ones that really just put up insane flashy numbers, and honestly, you know, you never want to say
Like you're letting Loki through twice.
We look at Self and Ego Death. We look at Tap for sure in this team. Absolute great, and then that opens up the skies for a
I don't know.
which is also going
Kinda weird.
as well. As we go to
Rowan?
Path, and I'm telling you guys, I don't know who gave Techie the script. They look rehearsed though. They look ready to go for this potential elimination to the lower bracket for FlyQuest.
And I see you guys in the chat changing up some of your votes. I saw a lot of that, what, 80 plus in favor of FlyQuest after that first game alone. You can only imagine
It's
the
a
Techie
case
fans
of,
they
again,
feasting right now, but they have to feast here for this second game to proceed on through this winner side of the bracket.
Outdrafting again.
Here we go at Yggdrasil's Path, and right away we
I don't understand. They're doing the goats hold. That's fine. 3 tanks, 3 healers. You hold up close, then you TP back, so you're guaranteed 3 fights. But again, they just have like, does not look good for FlyQuest. Again, like I've been saying, if you let Loki Luna through and you don't get to play it, this team should automatically win because of this comp. Your backline should never die. But because they're doing the GOATS comp, they have a second fight. Fine.
Right away, Vest now flexing over to that group, getting those good close of walls to separate that space early and often for them. Avery in the skies, as we saw, Omega Hurricane nerfed a little bit in this patch, but still can put plenty of pressure, and most importantly,
He almost died.
here, energy needs
I actually like the Storm pick here, especially into Groot Psylocke. You can kind of watch when the Psylocke is going for a flank, and you kind of should be able to deal with him. Waiting till the very end, or Mag ulting with Storm, very good. Yeah. What the heck? Again, just a case of being outdrafted by a team that doesn't have a coach. Impressive again.
Right there, he was at the Eternal Bond was 1% away. That is a brutal elimination and perfect timing for that Hurricane and close-in of the team. Perfect communications right now for Techie. That off week really gave them everything they needed to change up strats, comms, and composure as they headed to the second point. But it looks like potentially FlyQuest, yeah, they're going to be able to at least put up a fight here.
Well, this is a great re-engage for FlyQuest, but they noticed that Wolfels had used the Fate of Both Worlds really late in that previous fight. Really unnecessary to pull the trigger right there. So they wanted to try to
They wasted They wasted this ult to touch. I mean, they got the space back at least. That's a good pick, but again,
They still have the Agamotto ready with Blur using their just right to beat. Now, Brute does have the Meteor coming close, but as far as strategies, Ad is going to be the next man up to get it here. Spark Chief, though, trying to hold that front ground, and that was huge for momentum. 3 team fights in what looked like a full domination there from Techie. That is a big win there for FlyQuest.
It should be Techie's win at this fight based on ult advantage. Unless he hits a very good eye. That's a good eye. Why are we this ult there?
We've got now both the extermination and we have the invisible boundary going off at once. Wolfos are now Ad going in with this fate of both worlds and tap to follow. We saw this last time. The team spreading the damage between them though. Great job, but it's not going to be enough as Ad and Tap close in.
Wait, why are we invisible there?
Spark Chief, rough start there, especially in terms of the Agamotto. We're going to go into now Venom for Spark Chief, trying to maybe poke.
Ad is having way too much fun. He also got the freeze too on Vez before backing away, and then now trying to finalize this first checkpoint here for
FlyQuest does not look good today.
And they have 2 ultimates here to work with between Woofles and Blur.
Yeah, and so far, not extremely dangerous skies here for the weather report of Avery and the ultimates. I would like to see those land a bit better, but it's getting the job done. Cleaning up some of those ults at the end of the fights would probably be the only thing Techie needs to adjust. Other than that, keep rocking and rolling. Play loose, have fun. We're seeing it right now with Blur ready to rock the Agamotto, the team fight winner. Right now, Zelos is going to have to nail this. Cooper getting close to that invisible boundary as well. We need to see FlyQuest stagger these strategists ults a bit more.
I do some more of this poke pressure too, with Spark now being on the Venom before dropping down and swinging right back away to the safety of his team. The extermination now just trying to keep Tap in that corner before dashing away to the safety of the rest of their team. They've used up this extermination, and the Dance of the Butterflies is also up here for Tap. As Blur now comes in with the Eye of Agamotto here.
Questionable eye. They re-eye here.
Moves up to try to get the
good eye. Massive eye.
We've been seeing it all week, and with the finish there in the Eye of Agamotto, it sees all, including that team wipe. Brilliant.
Just a lot of ults there, though.
The story of this is just the domination of the meta pick of Loki and Luna together versus, yes, triple support, but strategist, but it is tough to match those two in the countless seconds of invisibility.
Yeah, what is it, like 24 seconds of immortality if you cycle through both Loki and Luna in that timely fashion, just waiting for one to end versus the other? It's crazy. It's a huge stall opportunity here too, just out
that was very bad.
Energy, though, gets caught with the Sun Tap alongside them. They jump energy. No safety as Sparky tries to help and peel.
Yeah, that's a huge pick early. Again, we saw this with against Envy when FlyQuest went against him.
Good copy.
Here, as we've got the internal bond going in, closing in.
You have no more?
The whale going out with the damage boost. Cooper getting the elimination, but Avery closing and finishing off the job with the trades looking close. But honestly, this is going in favor of Techie as Tap finishes off the job with the sword 2-piece.
Wait, and the Ditto just clap back here too from Techie. They go over to the Hulk.
Oh, what?
To try to counter that of energy, who's already having a hard
We're dying with our healers here?
Yeah, we've heard a lot about the Hulk there for Sparky. Blur says, watch what I can do with the Gamma, as one is Hulk smashing, the other is Hulk spectating, as now they're pushing into this cavern here, trying to get that pressure, not letting FlyQuest get in, but that portal comes out, and the team trying to contest. They need to win this one if they want to keep momentum. 28 seconds, so Vicky, not
don't have any ults.
No, but at least it's enough time here to just re-engage with these ultimates. If you're FlyQuest holding back Techie, Blur now gonna get booted off of that Hulk, gonna be turning into Bruce Banners as Cooper sends him back to the spawn. They've re-engaged. Techie are forced to just try to peel away, and looking behind them though, their entry is just cut off by Spark, who manages to fly away, and now this is the moment. Now less than 5 seconds.
Very good eye.
There's the Agamotto, and we've seen it how we've seen it before. Vets with a huge stun on the team, as now FlyQuest closing things out, and at this point it's looking like FlyQuest can get a good firm defense with the last desperation here from Blur, but he might buy enough time with that Monster Hulk. The team can get themselves in. Tab also getting eliminated, and that's going to be it, Vicky, for the first defense. FlyQuest responding.
It's the calm and collected faces for FlyQuest for me right now. The way that they're holding on, the way that they're able to cycle through, they just knew in that moment that they were able to push them off.
Did you see Energy's face cam pop up there? He looks so unfazed. Like if a meteor hit his house.
It shouldn't be winning this. I don't understand how they're losing right now.
The team turned it around. It is tough against, again, Loki, Luna, with what you have. And with FlyQuest not even looking like the team we've seen in group stage, I'm impressed that they were able to get that stop.
I'm also really impressed to see the way that Techie has tried to isolate energy. When you get to figure out and pinpoint the biggest issue that is going to be the wall for your team, they've been able to communicate properly on energy's positioning constantly. And even with that, FlyQuest was able to prevent Techie from getting to that second checkpoint.
Yeah, 100%. I think that Techie, they're using their ultimates a bit aggressive. I like it. I like the approach that they're going with there, but it does seem like they're kind of all gas, no brakes. And honestly, they're just not even, they're not worried right now. I think Avery definitely hoped to see a bit better Omega Hurricanes there, but as a whole, the team has it in lock. Now, Avery, 14K, not bad, though, on the damage front. Energy playing a much better game as well.
Talk about ultimates. We see that sometimes too with Wolfels, just with the fate of both worlds being utilized either too late or a little too early, just to try to start more of these aggressive engagements here. See how they're going to be able to cycle through this with FlyQuest now be on the attack instead with the fastball special, just trying to yeet energy in the direction you're trying to get a kidnap.
Yeah, we got a portal opening as well. That's going to be the turret portal that we've been seeing most likely. And look at that beautiful scoop. What is happening? My goodness, with the double kidnap in the air. Peter Pan, you can fly. As Energy gets the opening cuts, and Blur is going to be eliminated fast here.
Just a little bit of pixie dust or maybe some adamantium is all you need to be able to get the isolation pick onto Blur. But it's a big first pick. This is for Seki to just try to play split up here.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Brute now getting that poke. Blur is going to be coming back a bit slower right now. Both teams just getting good pressure on. And honestly, FlyQuest just pushing in very heavy at the moment. They have 3 fights and contests on this point. It's going to be tough to match that with the point making its way firmly to the gates and opening up.
Very good.
2 potentially best now with just pure pressure. And look at those ults getting charged up fast. Audios with a nice pick and getting close to being able to get that strategist ultimate now.
Oh, FlyQuest saying they don't need the no more Gamma Squid here in their favor before Techie now force their way in after Tap gets sent out here. And that does have the God of Mischief, and he uses it and gets shut down in the process. The beautiful follow between Energy and Zealots with that Terror Cape has just been the nail in the coffin to allow FlyQuest to get this first checkpoint.
Those melees are beautiful. I'm telling you, that man and this team, they just play great when they're down, and we've seen this before. We're seeing it again. Every cut intentional, every dash personal. Love to see it.
Top of the little stagger here. It's another calm and collected energy, by the way. I love these face cams. It just highlights, yeah, I just popped off real quick. We're going to be able to control this space, but it's just what FlyQuest is expected to do here in this corner.
Yeah, and just looking at the ults too, I mean, right now, you're in favor of FlyQuest with the momentum that they have there. They've got 3 of their strategy ults ready. They can get a huge Agamotto here to really make things tough. As Avery just trying his best now, going to try to use the Blessings of the Deep early as the Extermination goes out. The Magneto goes up and does not get a connection they were looking for to try to stall this offense.
Talk about the reaction.
Techie should never be losing this in this scenario.
He can destroy with the Extermination midway through being tossed here in this case. While Tap now using the Dance of Butterflies, it's then answered back and countered by Cooper and the Invisible Boundary, just waiting for that opportunity, knowing it was going to come eventually.
Yeah, unfortunately, too, Magneto just not getting that connection, throwing at the meter and just going right off the glass. No basket here. We're seeing everything go out for both these teams here as there's 4 minutes on the clock. You would think it's almost overtime with the aggression, but luckily here, Techie is able to fight back. Vest now just forced to back up, rejoin his team, and reset.
Yeah, the strategists were in shambles in that case here. They're first to 2 to go out in that fight. This allows Techie to get a lot more aggressive and to allow themselves to set up with this no more.
Yeah, without question here, both teams now trying to get things going.
Oh, he's not in Hulk form. Oh,
really well in that first point against them. That's going to allow some mass pressure there. Energy, Dance of the Butterflies. He's going to look for that triple piece to open things up just like point 1. But this time, that'll make the series tied if he can pull it off. Avery, though, getting some nice farm of poke damage with those Tritons. Going right for the head, trying to get some poke damage on the Audios with the Squids.
Oh, but Cooper with the pull here, too, as well as the follow-up finds Avery as a first pick. Yes, Brute's about to have that meteor, but FlyQuest as well with Vez having the Eye of Agamotto before getting temporarily stunned by Blur. Avil then gets the follow-up onto Tap, which is a big pick considering the Dance of Butterflies was online for Techie.
Pretty good eye.
There's Vez with the massive eye. The follow-up from Psylocke. Now we've got 1 meteor going up, down, no connection, and now we've got Energy just putting the pressure on them with the damage DPS portal coming out, trying to
ran in. Ran back into spawn as Baby Hulk and ran back out as Venom. That's actually hilarious.
With the fate of both worlds, keeping the team alive and the pressure with it.
a desperate times call for desperate measures strategy here from Techie after coming out of Avery's portal. The beautiful stall right on top of that payload too. Ad now gets booted out of the God of Mischief. Now Energy follows up, does find Wolfos. Avery with the Eye of Agamotto though. After they've already lost out on 2, they have to deal with the Eternal Bomb. They have to worry about the Venom ultimate on top of it. And Cooper and Vez together alongside the rest of FlyQuest have shoved Techie off this payload.
They did not just take the fight, they directed it, and call it what you want. That was a 6-man mic drop. Great job from FlyQuest to get the ship straight. And last time, Ego Death knocked both games out and into the lower bracket. They win. This time, they've got something to say.
They needed that here. Best of 3 situation. Again, it was a little bit of PTSD moment for FlyQuest, but they had to let Techie know, all right, we won't be getting got another time around as Cooper gets the MVP after that second game.
I'm telling you, watching these face cams crack me up. Energy just looks like he's not face at all, playing the best Psylocke that I've seen on the biggest stage. My face cam playing this game would be something of embarrassment, let me tell you. But looking at the final stats, Vicky, Energy, you can see 17K back into form that we expect with those 11 final hits. Both Vanguards and both Spark Chief, I think especially really kind of rose up there, doing a better part on this map.
And I'm not surprised too, because I feel like when you see FlyQuest go Gigas Drill, like this is a really strong map for FlyQuest. They've won it against Solaris when they were down that one map as well. They won it against Jobless Bums, and this was also the map that started that momentum here for FlyQuest versus Envy before Envy had taken that game 3, I believe, onto Clintar, and then FlyQuest then took it over Envy in that last game on Krakoa. So they're playing to their strengths here, including adding that onto the maps.
Yeah, and it felt like kind of Techie and Fly swap places in terms of performance with ultimate usage and lineups. We saw them do it to perfection, Techie, on Domination, and that time it just felt like these ults were kind of going out sporadically. A little bit with FlyQuest at the beginning there too. Energy, a couple ulti ones back, but things just locked in, and we've seen that time after time. When the man needs to step up, he does, and the team follows with him. Fantastic job.
And I'm wondering if that goes hand in hand too with the triple strategist that we currently saw from FlyQuest. They had Zelos on that Cloak and Dagger, Dios obviously on that Ultron, the output from Cooper, and being able to just support through everything with that 31k healing here too. And that's with Energy having to make a lot more of these swaps and these adjustments.
Yeah, that's actually a great highlight there. Looking at strategists from both teams. Obviously, you know, Luna Loki, that's the favor in terms of the meta picks. But man, the damage spread between the 3 of them and healing, all of them, 23k, 15k, 31k healing. That is a lot to go up against. I think they did the perfect job. Cooper-tastic once again taking that MVP, man, just collecting them at this point. 31k healing. Absolutely insane there with Sue. So looking towards this next matchup right now, Techie gets to pick the map. They have the final mode there. I think the pick bans, they went fine. Obviously, Avery and what they did with Punisher surprised, you know, FlyQuest, and they took care of that. I think we're going to see the same, at least, pick ban list there from FlyQuest.
Yeah, because it was FlyQuest that couldn't run the Luna and the Loki themselves, so they made it work with the triple strategist here. So that, again, further highlighting the flexibility on having to navigate through these different strategist bands that we constantly keep seeing.
And guys, let me highlight this. Group stage was something, right? That was to get the seeding, okay? Maybe make a little bit of a name for yourself. This is now for land. The pressure is to the maximum. You can only lose twice. One of them coming right here, right now for one of these teams. I mean, this is as high stakes as you get. Forget, you know, just making your legacy, but this is going to be it for one of them here, at least in the upper bracket where you want to be, unless maybe you're FlyQuest. But either way, we've got a great match 3 coming up. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're right back to the action.
Be a match 1-1. Techie shouldn't have lost that, to be fair.
Trapping all those fighting souls, but yet across the world I see you standing in my way. And remember the time, the place we used to fight, like
Fire song hasn't changed. They need new music. I'm going to go insane. Oh. Alright, Matt. Techie picks. I'm not sure what they play.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Momentum has been claimed and confidence has been achieved by.
I'm sure it has to be a convergence map. Maybe Clintar?
Win off the board there, and we go into match
Maybe.
3, Vicky. Both teams show what they got. Which one is going to bring it all to match 3?
I mean, this is how you start off a playoffs match out here, Cozy. This is what I like to see against our heavily seeded teams, but even better from Techie, making this a little even here for us as FlyQuest. They knew that they could not go down without a fight. Another PTSD situation. They don't want to reiterate what happened in the group stages, but this also means that we will be moving on to Convergence for map number 3.
Yeah, and it'll be Central Park at that. Now, listen, I think we're going to see a lot of what we're going to expect into the match. With the pick and ban phase, will Punisher make its way through again? Will they change things up? Techie, obviously, you know, looking to get things a little bit better from that last match. They played great. The stats are there across the board. I would say, again, as we point out, the ultimate tightness has got to get a little bit better for, honestly, both teams. But in that last one with Techie, what is the big standout thing for each team to win? Who's got to play their A game?
I feel like for me, it's got to be the way that we saw the Fate of Both Worlds utilized for a lot of these 2 end fights that I noticed for Wolfle specifically on that Luna. I do feel like as well, their game plan for Techie has been to focus down on energy. They've changed a lot too. They came in with the Hulk and Namor. You try to test that against Adios, who likes to lean into that Namor too when Spark is on that Hulk. It kind of gives them a taste of their own medicine, but now depending on this pick and this safe and ban system that we currently have going into game number 3, this is where the mind games start.
Yeah, who's got the ice in the veins for a road to lands here as both teams lock in, ready to go. Emma first off the board, and we're going to find out a lot here in terms of duelists and which way they go. Of course, we've got the same saves so far.
Okay, not too surprised here after knowing how strong Emma Frost has been, especially in Americas. But that Punisher band is going to be interesting, though, in favor.
So we're looking at Central Park. Pretty good map. We see Emma ban, Punisher ban, Mag save, Emma ban, Mag save, Loki ban. We are going for Torch ban because Torch is very good on this map. So we do the instant mirror Torch ban, which is fine. Central Park, again, very good for Torch. Gonna save the Psylocke for FlyQuest.
Following something similar, except this time the no Loki, no Torch, like what FlyQuest had to worry about in those last 2. The safety, though, on the Psylocke, I'm not too surprised there. Even finding some difficulty, still a lot of energy to have.
Ban Luna, ban Loki. These are very good, again. Save Psylocke, so we're going for the mirror on the Psylocke. Again, the draft for Techie is very good. Because we have Loki Luna up permanently, but FlyQuest is trying to somehow exploit it. I think they're trying to like make a better meta, potentially. They're trying to, they just want to constantly run this triple strategist lineup, which I think is okay. You just lose a lot of frontline pressure because you don't have extra DPS. This is a good pick. This is actually a really good pick. If they're going actually Penny Rocket for hold, I think that's also fine. But I don't think they would.
Thus far, but the dive comp in favor right now, at least for the time being. For FlyQuest, as they took the second map, we head into Central Park, New York. Will bring us our final result between these 2 teams.
Love this map, by the way. Squirrel Girl living rent-free out here in Central Park. Love that from my girl as we get to see what the chat has chosen, what their preds have been, and FlyQuest 65%, but it's slowly going down, Cozy. I'm still seeing that shift compared to our first game where chat had presented it as 82 plus, I believe.
Yeah, I'm telling you, in esports, one loss can make people just lose their confidence. Heck, we saw that last time with FlyQuest. No one believed in them. They won the whole thing. Can they do it again? But Techie earning the people's love here as they creep up to more even of votes here. Now, Techie on the offense first. We've got the Luna Loki, as you would expect. Avery on the Wolverine. That's going to be massive to see if they can get that pressure on Vest. And Spark Chief and Energy look to get the job done on the dive side.
So we have to imagine that Punisher ban is definitely going to put a dent on Avery's side. Not able to play the Punisher, but now trying to stick to something differently here with the Wolverine. Nice poke pressure that we're currently seeing too. Just building to some of these ultimates as Zeus is about to have the extermination too.
Guys, slowly getting that pressure for them. Energy having to back out a little bit, but gets that pressure going. Accuracy just so nice there from Energy. But getting that first pick here on Spark Chief, opening up the team to dive in. Blur is going to go into the point now, and we've got Brute to follow with Magneto, getting that pressure on them, followed by the red.
Very good pressure by Techie.
And wow, did this pressure work out for them?
Right now.
And with Cooper going down, then just trying to back away.
Having just the one duelist to try to break this comp is very hard. I think we have to swap here. Off of solo duelist Psylocke. I mean, I think we have to swap Adios, another duelist. We get another pick. That's a very great pick. That is insane pick right there. That is a very good stagger. Even though we died there, we should have enough pressure to keep the payload pushing to about the first choke point. Then they will be all regrouped to be able to fight. But by the time here we're back, Hulk's already diving in. We're probably going to look for another grab by Hulk. This guy should be dead. Yeah, we have to mirror the Wolverine. Wolverine is a character that has to be mirrored to be able to be played. Very good exile.
Cooper with that invisible boundary earlier on, looking for an opportunity before Vez turns around, breaks
that
bubble, but then having the reset with the World Breaker Hulk as Energy tries to dance in the backline with the Dance of Butterflies here, just trying to force out another support ultimate from Techie. Wolfwolf's with that dance now going to be able to back away, but this is great pressure.
They'll have a lot of ults on Techie's side. Oh, nice. Ooh. Ooh. Okay.
As we saw in domination, the game they won is going crazy here on the second point.
This Magneto from Brute has just been on fire.
That is actually insane.
Snipes. Being able to get these picks, these follow-ups alongside with Tap goes huge.
Yeah, now we go to mirror the wolf, but we're still playing our triple strategist lineup.
Getting back together here. We've got one last fight to hold off point number 2, and right now Techie's playing the game that they
I don't know. I'm really not a fan.
Let's see if he can stay alive for the fight.
The triple strategist difference between FlyQuest and Techie, though, they have Wolfwolf, they have had, and they're cycling through the strategist ults beautifully here as Wolfwolf is slowly approaching that fate of both worlds, but Ad already has a God of Mischief here, slicing in before Energy just
Good
jumps
copy.
right back on top of the point. There goes that copy with the God of Mischief, keeps him in this fight, and the invisible boundary too on top of it. But
Great. Great by Avery. Oh my god. That was very good.
This works out the eternal bond now from Zelos.
Yeah.
They got their target set on Cooper. Now one Wolverine lives, the other falls, and it's Energy as the
What?
vest goes up and is unable to connect yet again. It wasn't a highlight, it was a shot clock violation, unfortunately, for Meteor M. Adios now just stuck there, and unfortunately, this is not going to go the way of FlyQuest if you're a fan. Techie, though, they're looking hot.
Oh no, Cooper just came back and gets picked off again by Tap, but they
Yeah.
keeping FlyQuest alive for so
Techie looks
long.
insane right now.
What happened? They had to go down with the pressure that we saw going in between Tap, Brew with that Meteor, and then Avery being.
It was good by FlyQuest to mirror the wolf, but we have to swap. Okay, now they do. We go to Bucky here. That's fine. I don't think it's terrible. You are playing Bucking the Loki. That's good. Fine.
This is where you see a lot of the holds kind of carry on here. It's gonna be Tap versus Energy at this point. Now Energy obviously on Wolverine to try to
Blur swaps to Thing. He was on Hulk. Something to keep in mind. We still have the throw team up.
It's difficult to transcend through this
Good.
low ground now as Energy just tries to make the first move before having to back away, but then has to deal with some karma themselves.
No passive.
Wolverines that didn't know they had wings, but trying to
Dead.
collect them as Energy gets sent down before
Yeah.
back to the rest of his team.
Audius going over
There's another comp issue, I think, on the side of FlyQuest.
Loki, but nothing is working for them. It's again all gas for
Yeah.
Techie as
They have the momentum heavily.
I'm not gonna lie, Ad, Tap, Avery, like Blur, they're all doing such an amazing job right now. Brute with just this poke pressure too, coming in with the Magneto. Clobbering time though.
They're getting killed in spawn.
They try to make some changes, thinking that they need more damage to come out. Energy's been getting focused. Cooper needs all the
A little too much of an aggressive play there.
Tap, though, and that's no
Get the copy out.
B dropping now for
We're looking for Invis. We're looking for Invis. We're looking for Invis. We're looking for Invis.
locked and loaded. We've got the Kraken impact.
What?
Comes
Wait, what?
Avery with the unfortunate unable to
Great block by Brutes again.
again, once again, missing that meteor has hit so
The resets. We're popping everything though for this fight.
Logan and wins the better of it, and they can finally slow down Techie, it looks like, in this fight.
Pretty good though.
Everett looked like they were floating like a feather, just trying to wait out that meteor before it was a little too late. Now Dios comes in to sweep up with the Kraken impact. Cooper finding Tap a little bit of revenge here for the Invisible Woman.
Absolutely here again. Will FlyQuest go to the side quest or stay the main quest here as they put up the defense? Kraken impact used up in a lot of old economy. We do have Energy and Spark Chief. Spark Chief not so much, maybe a little bit of hold there, but Techie's got everything they need with 1:20 to seal the deal.
And playing a little cheeky out here too, as most Loki players as well. Just looking at the positioning that we saw that one Loki clone from the back lines of FlyQuest though. But look at these ultimates right now. Energy does have that Wolverine ult. Techie have some answers though coming right back. Ad's about to have that Loki God of Mischief before Energy retreats right back to the rest of FlyQuest. And Bez takes a lot of damage. A meteor now in favor together with the Dance of Butterflies that already find Sue, just trying to cut off their exit point.
That was huge, and Energy used his ult on top of that to try to match the two that Tap got out, but unfortunately did not match it in the Dance of the Butterflies. Could have been the dance to win it, as we now have both dances out. We have Cooper, Loki there with the ult, and now Audios is trying to hold them back. There's only 2 meters left, 2.68. Can they do it?
Another Kraken, by the way, going in again. Can he find the finishing blow? Needs some help here from Energy. Avery now finds Energy instead, but then Fez matches him back in the spawn. Only so much Aldios could do with his damage output. Oven leaving the backline of FlyQuest, stalling for as long as possible. But with 16 seconds on the clock, Techie take the payload to the finish line.
They've got the sledgehammers out. They're looking to break the bracket. No one giving them a chance. They're going to show exactly who they are to America if they can get this defensive effort. And FlyQuest, you guys have been here many of times. Can you get the 3-3 and push it into yet another push?
Break the bracket, break everyone's predictions, break chat predictions. This is insane right now. Yes, you have a few seconds of time to spare. FlyQuest now on the opposition have to take this payload all the way at the end of that third checkpoint now.
I mean, Tap just huge executions in the back line, really just opening up the space for his team. Energy tried to match it there with the Wolf ult, and again, just unsuccessful to get it done. I mean, there's some matches I don't even know who won. I just know my eyes lost. It was madness.
I feel that I just felt in my soul the way that Cooper had to worry about Tap. You double jump away, you finally reveal where you are currently positioned because everyone's taking so much damage. So you get out of the invisibility and then you get hit on the head by Brute and the Meteor. Then you have to worry about Avery kidnapping you. You look like a chameleon looking in every direction if you're one of the backliners of FlyQuest.
And I highlighted Ad before the show what they did. Ad and Brute have not even been eliminated. Only 8 final hits altogether with FlyQuest. 11 for Tap by themselves. That's exactly what you want to see when there's LAN on the line as we head into FlyQuest now on the offensive. Can they get the point as easily as Techie did? And we'll see what happens.
LAN and and $250,000 prize pool for Americas. It's more than land. It's the money in sight for these teams out here. And FlyQuest now have to take this home and strategic here, while Alvios now going to be able to push in, get in some extra pressure. And I really like this pathing that we're currently seeing FlyQuest try to contest Techie.
Yeah, taking this left side sting there on Winter Soldier's nice for the pressure and just to punish those clones with the Kraken impact that he's trying to build up here. Maybe gonna pull in with the claw there. Energy trying to get that pressure on the right side. Like this high ground they're going for. Spark Chief looking to get some air here with Captain America jumping down as Avery is taking the fight to him, slashing and dicing away. And right now the ults are looking in favor for FlyQuest, but dead even nearly.
Just trying to make sure they can cover enough space in case Energy is trying to hide behind the pillar, but Tap calls out Energy instead. Slow and methodical doesn't end up working out for FlyQuest in this case. And after losing out on another form of damage done, Energy will be making their way over. And Avery with this Wolverine, the playmaker in the win condition of his current comp, gets that next isolation onto Vez and the pick.
As Happy Gilmore would say, just tap, tap, tap it in. That's what they're doing, just getting those eliminations perfectly in time as Zelos falls as I guess just that brute. Whole team now not only just cleaning up FlyQuest, but also building up those ults. And Cooper really the only one here ready to rock for the next match. Zelos close behind.
Avery is just using this as the opportunity of a scratch post right now. Now there has to be changes, and I like this now. Better late than never. You got 2 minutes, less than 20 seconds on the clock, and we get to see the res composition coming in from FlyQuest.
Yeah, interesting switch up here. We've seen Zelos play a lot of Adam in the past. Cooper flexing on over to the Mantis, and now Adios with that heavy-duty healing responsibility. Energy have not seen them play a lot of Star-Lord, but hey, the Legendary can be Legendary if pulled off correctly here, trying to farm that ult and get that early damage poke. He does get the Lanterns to pop, and it's great to counter that with the Barrage.
Better late here when you have to reset some of your ultimates, but then the clobbering time has found for the follow-up from Avery after utilizing the Wolverine ultimate. Techie had all the answers, but this is what to expect. When FlyQuest had made those changes, they lost out on their ultimate push, and the Squirrel Girl just happy from afar back in the spawn room to see FlyQuest again.
Insane there as Ad drops the beat. It's dropping harder than the team's morale right now. There's only going to be 1 minute and 23 seconds. They've got everything they need. It's coming down to execution. And right now, Avery has been the lights just really rising up here and making this team sweat. The winners of Group A.
I can't believe it. We'll win the 24 seconds of immortality, or this res composition just go and go again now. But they need to claim this point first as the Mantis from Cooper activates the Mantis ultimate. It's going to be able to contest that fate of both worlds from Wolfos. Looking over to the other side, this is going to be crucial with this meteor, but you're playing inside a corridor. It makes it even harder as it clips the roof.
Unfortunate there. I mean, just he threw up the meteor and it was right off the glass. Once again, something we saw connect so many times. Zelos, though, with that resurrection, will it be the momentum they need as Energy Tap is just playing out of their mind here with only 34 seconds to go and most of the ult economy used up?
Zelos res everybody, including themselves here, as Tap now goes around after using the dance of butterflies. Everything used up as Energy. It's up to you. You did lose on a Cooper, and currently with Ad being able to boost up that Loki ultimate, you have to deal with the fate of both worlds. The clobbering time as Techie has sent FlyQuest back to their spawns.
Brute just with the perfect patience against the Legendary, sucking up the entire ultimate and throwing it down on Cooper, putting the momentum out there, and FlyQuest is looking like they're going to go back to the side quest at the lower bracket. Overtime in, portal out. Can they sustain? Can they keep this thing in?
Playing objective, playing over to the side of having to deal with the gauntlet that is that lower bracket run, as Cooper is the first to go down again after making swaps over to the rocket, though. Dios gets that respawn, Energy gets that pick, still keeping the dream alive as Energy has been able to stay alive and put in this damage pressure.
My goodness, with a fight back we've seen plenty of times. Avery going up and down with the Berserker Rage. Tap to full, and now 1-2. Energy, though, trading with Avery. This can go either way. Energy now with the double, as he always does, putting the team on his back. The mixtape in, and it's violence out as Energy helps get at least a little bit more time on this point. But Ad coming with the portal right now. Team about to dump in here. Best can hold with the call every time. Look at that placement from Energy, too.
Jumping right on top of the Doctor Strange portal, bonking on their heads like a footstool, but a clobbering time now from Vez, giving Techie a little taste of the blur medicine instead. Huge 2K coming in. Yes, you've lost out on Zelos, but nobody's dealing with Energy right now, as the overtime isn't the end here for FlyQuest.
Nobody it with the top team there on the ropes. They somehow get it done. They only have 2 minutes and 18 seconds as Energy looking just calm, but also punching the air there as Star-Lord does have a legendary. He's going to switch out, though. That just showcases the strategy. Oh, it looks like he's actually going to hang on.
This was on top of those Hail Mary swaps on the Rocket to get the respawn off with the triple strategist. Dios with that swap now over to the Namor instead. Wolfles and Tap both have their ultimates ready to control the next space around this next choke corner.
I mean, this isn't even just an upset anymore. It's survival for FlyQuest. They're just trying to keep this thing competitive. Now, as at throwing out the lanterns, good poke there from Energy Blur, though. The trade with Zealous. These strategists are just falling in his back line. Graveyard action as Avery pushing the team back to the point. Oh.
What happens when you can only work with so much strategists to rotate on? Avery has been on fire throughout the course of this entire series, hand in hand with Tap and, in course, Ad and Blur, of course, with the clobbering times that we're currently seeing.
Gonna be interesting to see how this trades off. Techie has all their ults right now. There's a minute left, but if they use them right now, FlyQuest is gonna get what they need to.
Survive, though. You saw Tap survive right there. They even pulled them right back in together with Cooper as the invisible boundary. The clobbering time now from Blur is huge. It's found 3. It's found Cooper and Vez. No invisible boundary instead. As Brute sends out the meteor, doesn't find the mark. As Energy flying from the sky is just continuously trying to put in this pressure. Combine that with the internal bond from the Cloak and Dagger of Zelos.
A beautiful display of not only strategy, but flexibility. Now, Adios just going and cleaning up there with the poke damage that is from Energy and the Star-Lord. 39 seconds left. They were saying to themselves, wait a second, this is not supposed to happen. We were supposed to win this thing, and they're going to see if they can get the second point to get them one step closer to it.
Dude, Energy's not even blinking. Like, still in the same exact position, by the way. Just chilling here, despite what is on the line right now. The re-engagement, Avery's, Wolfles, and Ad are about to have that 24 seconds of immortality, while Avery tries to isolate Vaz. The meteor, though, gave him some of that health as well before sending it down, and it misses on the fate of both rolls. That was the major win condition that they wanted to lean on here. This sees Cooper and Spark with their own respective ultimates and overtime about to take away.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're not connecting Avery with that trade on best 2. It's going to make it real tough here as Energy's just trying to get that poke damage. It's going to be rough here as now Spark Chief trying to get the pick that he needs to give this team momentum. The team on their ropes, they came in with the spotlight. Now they're under it here as they're just trying to trying to keep things competitive, just like point 1. Blur, though, trades with Cooper. This could be it.
And the stagger with the Luna Snow and Loki ultimates, though, keep the rest of Techie alive. The clobbering time, but you have no sustainability. Vez and Energy are the only ones left. Nobody's dreams as overtime now takes away. Looking at the face of that portal, sending you back. Nowhere to run when Avery is in your face. As Techie, they start the playoffs here in such a strong fashion, taking care of FlyQuest.
My goodness, guys, to open up the playoffs there, respect is earned, not given, and Techie definitely has earned respect, taking down the winner of the Group of Death, Group A from the group stage, now sent to the lower bracket in Techie against all odds.
That's insane.
To the upper bracket. They don't like to be called underdogs for a reason.
Wow. I mean, they told us. They told us.
24.
They beat Dark Zero. They beat Citadel Gaming. Yes, they lost to Shroud X, but you could obviously see that they've expanded on their own hero pool. They've done their research out here. They've basically...
Again, they were outdrafted. Our Loki has 50k healing, by the way.
After losing out on that second map.
People tried to tell me it's the worst healer.
FlyQuest's strength.
Sure.
I mean, just try to highlight one person, too. You can't. They're all insane. I've got to say, Avery, for me, was probably the winner of this whole matchup, really stepping up. I think Tap, we expected to see him go off 49-3, though. I mean, that's kind of crazy. But in reverse, just seeing what Avery was able to do with the constant pressure. 14-24. I mean, it is a absolute laughable comparison looking team to team at the moment.
And that's with us highlighting Avery being on that Storm, the Iron Man out here. We saw the Punisher then get banned as a specific ban against Avery, and then the huge Wolverine play that we currently saw hand in hand together with that of Tap and all those final hits. Techie XD are looking to take this winner side of the bracket with the Storm.
And just left in shock here. This was the first match of today, and wow, does it prove that even just with a week, you can turn things around. New patch, new them, as we're seeing all that practice, that flexibility really pay off. And just hats off to Techie, a team that people don't know. These players are highlighted, interviewed, showed on off shows and podcasts, but Techie are the ones that get it done to move forward, and we're just getting started, Vic.
I need to put a specific highlight onto add on the Loki, though. If I could pick an MVP player, yes, Tap, we've talked about Tap so many times, only died 3 times. But Ad only died twice, and the timing of that Luna Snow and the God of Mistage copying that fate of both worlds is what allowed them to stay alive for 2 re-engagements. It's what allowed Ad to be in that next fight. And that was a huge difference between the 2 strategists versus the 3 that was ran out by FlyQuest.
Yeah, honestly, it was the difference of strategists between both teams. I mean, it seemed like every other moment, FlyQuest strategists were down and out. And Cooper, when he's not able to do what Cooper does best, unfortunately, is just not able to heal, keep the team up. And it followed an Ad with 50,000 healing, 30 KOs. That is what you want to see from the backline.
50,000 on the Loki copying the Luna with the fate of both worlds, whereas on the other side, like you had FlyQuest not know whether they needed more damage out here. They didn't have a Loki, they didn't have a Luna Snow because they were banned against them, and currently Techie used that to their advantage. I would say Ad really popped off there, not only in terms of survivability with Loki, but I talked about the cheeky clone play.
I'm surprised that they actually managed to pull that.
As well as building into that very fast charging ultimate for Loki.
Yeah, I mean, again, and look at the position, and they all really...
I'll mute so you can hear the interview.
Just perfect play. Vess was the one with the poke eliminations, not needing to use the ultimate, and when he did, he got all the, huge displays of 2, 3-piece. Well, in that time, it was Brute, and Blur was able to put up that pressure consistently. Duelist department, pick your poison. I wouldn't want to go against any of them in the competitive ladder. And then, as you just highlighted, the strategist. So we just saw this team click on all cylinders compared to Yggdrasil's path. Really their ultimate display and just lining things up, the communication, perfection.
That's literally the only thing I would say here for Techie. If they wanted to end this in a speed run, that second game, the ult economy and how they cycled through it to try to counter that of FlyQuest was really the big difference there, which is something that's very easy to just VOD review and figure out how you want to space out your ultimates. Exactly what we saw in Central Park for map number 3. And that with Brute just doing so much damage output, like what, 17 final hits? Beautiful display in terms of the team of Techie.
Well, guys, you just saw one of the best Psylocke's play rivals and have a huge upset, and we're going to welcome in Tap right now for a live interview. And my guest, cool, calm, collected. How's it going, Tap? Congratulations.
Hey, how you doing? I'm great. Thank you.
Dude, listen, your Psylocke is something else, an absolute just demon out there. I mean, you went 40-plus eliminations, 3 deaths. We saw you do that before again. You guys lost to Shroud X twice there in group stage. What was the difference of this team coming together? I talked last time, I think, to Blur, and he was like, hey, we're not underdogs to ourselves. I mean, does your team just carry that mentality?
Yeah, we're pretty confident players. I'd say all 6 of us. So, yeah, I'd say we do, yeah.
Wow,
awesome.
You guys, you seem like, I can't tell if you're out of breath or you're like just another day at work type of vibe where like you're chilling. You knew that this was going to be the result. Like, how are you feeling after that?
Well, it's a pretty exciting win, of course, because they were the first seed in the other group. So pretty happy. I didn't expect to win, I guess. But like I said, we're pretty confident in our play. So we did go into this thinking we could win. And I think we did pretty good. So.
Wow. Listen,
sorry, Cozy. No, yeah, I was hearing you say that you guys didn't expect to win, and then you guys came out already winning that first map. I mean, you guys saved the protection on the Psylocke. We saw the same thing from FlyQuest. How did you feel about having to match that 1v1 Psylocke duel versus Energy?
How do I feel about it? I mean, I'll match anyone on Psylocke. That's fine.
Dude, love to see it here as we take a look at your highlights. I mean, I've got to ask you, right? You're only a couple wins away from LAN. I mean, who is Techie? Tell us about this team, their mentality. We know so much about these other teams, but the beautiful story of you guys, and now, trust me, the respect has been absolutely earned, on this side of things. But who are you guys? When did you guys come together as a unit, and how long you been playing? Where do you come from?
So Blur, Brute, and me were just pretty good friends. So That's the three of us. We played other games together before, and then Avery kind of picked up the rest. So our backline, and we know Avery from ranked because we all grind ranked loads. So that's probably the best explanation I can give for how we came together.
Yeah, I mean, listen, from group stage to playoff, what do you think's the one thing from you guys that really changed in your play? Was it communication? You know, which was it there that, you know, obviously, you know, sometimes a team just has your number, you know, in a certain day, certain week. But what do you feel like changed with that week off time that you had coming into this?
We definitely took a good look at our draft. I think right now our draft is pretty strong, and we're trying to play as much Psylocke as we can. That's why we're protecting it. Yeah, that's kind of what we did with our week. We kind of practiced that as much as we could. We only scrim once a day, so we don't have that much time, but we do come together and you know, talk about the game a lot. So we had our strategies ready to go.
Well, I interviewed Energy this week, and he said, man, Tap is just one of the craziest Psylocks out there. Definitely the respect is given to you guys. And then, you know, you were big on Punisher, but then this time it was given to Avery, who was the Flyers. And then, you know, Avery popped off with Domination. So it looks like even some of y'all's duelist flexibility really showcased here, Tap. And, dude, just again, man, like, this is the biggest stage for Rivals. You know, first LAN in history, couple games away. Want to give you the floor here to say everything to the viewers for Techie and close things up here.
All right. Well, I think it's one more game. I'm not really sure who we play next, so I'll be watching the next game. Yeah, I think hope you guys support us as we try to make it to LAN.
I'm a fan now. I'm fully converted. I'm a fan now, man. You definitely showcase what you guys got. Go celebrate with the team, and hats off to you guys. We're excited to watch you guys as we continue down this thing. And again, you guys are the dream for a lot of these people watching, the people that can just sign up, play through, and then make their way through against all these orgs. So you're really showcasing a beautiful story to the audience, man. Just congrats.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, guys. That was Tap, one of the craziest Psylocks in the game, as he goes and celebrates with his team. I mean, a little bit is they're not doing a lot of interviews, right? They're a team put together, but also, man, the composure of that guy. He just won the biggest game of his life by far, probably, and nothing but just chill.
That's why I was like, you seem like this is just another day at work. Like, how are you feeling? I'd be hyperventilating, like my heart would be coming out of my chest, but I guess that's what makes the difference, you know, perseverance out here for Techie. And you heard it from Tap themselves. They said, wait, we gotta wait and see who we're gonna be playing next, because we don't know, because that's gonna be the winner of Sentinels versus Envy.
Yeah, listen, Techie's got like the hardest path. So if they won, it's not even like they're just winning. They're gonna take down Fly, which they did, the 1 seed, and then they could potentially take down one of the 2 best teams in America, and that's the next match we're going to decide who plays Techie. That Cinderella story, again, finding that glass slipper before midnight, as it's gonna be now Sentinels versus Envy. And what is gonna be interesting, we have Sentinels coming off of a reverse sweep in those grand finals, and Envy coined as the best team in America, dropping out of the group stage before that.
This was the hardest series for me to really base off my Preds, but I mean, after the very first series, just, you know, toss the whole Preds away already at this point. Like, we just got to start from scratch. And I know I'm not alone on this. So many people in the chat with their own Preds just did not see this coming. It was wavering a little bit as the games had gone on, but now this is going to make things interesting. But this is a series that I was also expecting to go to the distance.
I mean, heck, Tap said they didn't even see it coming. We had nearly 90% of chat saying they didn't see this coming. This was the matchup I'm excited for, but the last one, yeah, toss everything away. We don't know anything at this point, but we are going to head to a quick break before the next electric matchup, guys. And if the first match was any indication, we have no idea what's about to happen. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back. What's going on, guys, and welcome back. I think we all needed a quick break with the Marvel heroes staring into the souls, Luna DJing, as we just came off an insane upset of Techie versus FlyQuest. Techie named their entire team after one player from this next matchup, Vicky. I mean, you couldn't write it better.
As big fans, this is their opportunity, but that is to say Sentinels will be moving on in a very tight series. It was very difficult for me to really pinpoint what the results are going to be between Envy and Sentinels.
Yeah, Sentinels and Envy is like probably the match of the day when it comes to two Titans meeting. We say David versus Goliath. This is just two Goliaths, two giants going at it. One team constantly not getting their flowers even after winning so many and making it all the way up to the grand finals, only again to get that reverse sweep done to them by Team Nemesis, a team that has continued to find the weaknesses of others. But Envy, one of the favorites going in, winning a lot of grassroots tournaments and coming in here with a hot start, but unfortunately falling against two very good teams of 100 Thieves and FlyQuest. They look to get things straight.
Yeah, nothing to scoff at out here, you know, finding themselves in that lower bracket final in a very close series between themselves and FlyQuest, where FlyQuest had won 3-1. And then on the other hand, Sentinels, you know, in a very crazy reverse sweep from Team Nemesis, which, you know, is a whole other story to open. Sentinels have definitely been able to figure out what they need to shape up to prevent a reverse sweep like that happening ever again.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, I've got to say that sometimes these numbers don't tell the story fully. I mean, Envy was in it so close for most of their matchups. And with Sentinels, I mean, Nemesis was constantly putting the pressure on. I went back to a lot of those matches, and it was almost always 100% to 100%, very close action. Now, with both these teams, they're home to some of the best players in America. We've got one of the strongest strategist duos of Aramori and Kurova, but on the other side, Speedery, the man that they put all their trust in to try to get the win when things were looking bad against FlyQuest, and guess what? They won with that, and Storm, what he can do. But looking at this team, they've been together for a long time under different names, different
big match, big match.
The final look of the team, and they have a lot in store for us.
And that's cycling
Sentinels versus
Wolverine, of course, and that's nice to highlight.
Someone.
Considering, you know, Gomez, you know, sitting out, seeing how the shape of these different metas and compositions have worked out in a lot of these teams' favor. But it's all about being flexible here with Nectar coming in, not only on the Wolverine, of course, as you can see on the highlights, but also on that Star-Lord.
Yeah, Techie doing a great job. As we've seen, he had some really pretty ults throughout the entire group stage. But honestly, when I interviewed Aramori, she said there's something in the meta about to really spark up here. And it was Black Panther from Riot Amazing, showing his flexibility, showing the die potential that they can run. And honestly, went off against teams, essentially eliminating Nemesis at first, putting them to the lower bracket. Didn't work the second time around, but they're known of triple comps. You have Crimso, who can flex to just about anything. This team is dangerous because of how many different hero formations they've got and just comms.
Yeah, you have to consider Crimso and that Captain America too. Like, is this going to be another target ban situation where we saw with FlyQuest, a lot of those target bans were just completely filtering into their weaknesses? Is this going to be the same case here with Sentinels also, you know, having to lean onto Crimso? We saw the Flex 2 to Groot at one point. So they have to be able to be flexible after having a good amount of time to now figure that out as we look at Envy.
Yeah, now Envy here, I mean, you can just tell from the class of their whole photo together here. We've got Kaluge,
nice.
And this is our first time with the fresh photos, by the way. We got Kaluge, many consider him one of the Vanguard goats and helming Doctor Strange, but now we've seen him shift to a lot of Magneto lately. Cal, cool, calm, collected.
Okay.
Get punished on Wolverine, Punisher, he's gone to Luna, he's gone to Hela. We've seen it all from him. Vicky, this roster's stacked.
Yeah, it is. And when you look at these fresh faces, some new profile pictures out here, you know, Envy is looking to deliver. So we take a look at some of those highlights from Speedery. And we talk about the Speedery show when we were casting this team, actually, whether it be that Psylocke, the Storm, the Human Torch that we actually saw from the other side here and just trying to deal with that. The Iron Man, though, popping off together with that and what Windows brings to the table with the Groot has always been the wombo combo to actually enjoy seeing.
Yeah, Jarvis clipping all that right here. Nero, just insane accuracy and damage output for a healer there on strategist, one of my strategists of the week. Last week in the group stage, Window can flex to just about everything and played at a very high level. And so when those two play together, they really are tough to stop in general. And when it comes to Cal, Speedery opens up so much with how dangerous he is that Cal's able to get those quick eliminations and kind of like a Doom Division with Shroud X, those important eliminations that you need to get that pressure on. But here's the thing, they got their loss out of their way. You know, they were kind of hailed as the best team in America. They got out of that group stage. Now they can kind of just play without the pressure, and I think that's going to be huge for them, and why I think they've got a good shot to win.
Yeah, and you know, after they lost out on that game one that you just saw on your screen right there, they were kind of forced to bring out that Sharknado composition too. So maybe thinking about these different bans that forces of the hand for a lot of these teams to run unorthodox compositions that they may not be comfortable with. Because I forgot, but I believe that specific game they couldn't run the Luna because I believe it was banned. So that's something else that we're seeing a resurgence of aside from that and Loki.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you guys are new to watching these teams in general, Amazing on the other side, he's the one to watch. He's kind of the tap, if you will, really just able to put so much pressure on the enemy team and carry in a lot of ways. Nectar is who I want to see a lot more from. Now, Super Gomez has been in that spot previously. I think it's still going to be Nectar, but that's going to be kind of the 1A, 1B of the duelist that I need to see from Sentinels. And listen, they've come from the biggest stage of the MRI, losing in that, and then they won the MRC right after that. This team has lost big games and has come back and dominated. So I'm not worried about that loss affecting them at all. In fact, I think it fuels them, and that's why it's just a huge clash here. You've got Envy with something to prove. Sentinels right off, just the heater. This is going to be good.
Yeah, when you're Sentinels and you're literally just one game away and you let it slip, you know that the in-game rage factor for Sentinels, like they're angry and they're looking to try to take control over that by just proceeding through the rest of this winner's bracket, just to prove what they were able to do back then in the group stages, they could do this time in the playoffs.
Heck, we're about to find out if the 1 seed was a curse because we just saw Techie take down the 1 seed. Can Ego Death do the same to Nemesis? You'll have to find out on match 4. But for right now, we've got match 2, stage 2 of the playoffs. Sentinels versus Envy as we head into the first map. And I can't wait to see the audience predictions here with these two tight teams.
Ooh, you know what? Cozy, isn't Sentinels playing in person together as a team as well?
I believe so. I think 100 Thieves and Sentinels, I believe, are together right now. From what I've seen from Twitter, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. And if so, wow, that just amps it up even more because I don't know if this team has all been together in person. But here we go. We start off, and the respect to Speedery shown immediately. Emma Bans, no. You're shutting down Human Torch.
That's actually crazy. That was the immediate reply from the Speedery
Emma,
show.
Torch ban, Emma ban. Free standard where I'm burning T'Challa domination. We have a Magneto save, which is very good.
Frost band immediately off the rip, but then now we could possibly see the next band coming in here into play from Sentinels.
We've seen Envy usually use that save on their duelist, not their Vanguard, because they can adjust. They're so flexible. We saw that with FlyQuest all the time. So that's good coaching and scouting from Sentinels. Now just getting rid of that torch right away, making things uncomfortable, and then they can follow.
T'Challa Dom, Sentinels versus Envy is a pretty big match for playoffs. Winner goes to upper bracket, loser goes to lower bracket, and we'll see how it's going to be going. Cap save on the side of Sentinels, which is a little bit interesting. Got a ban on Loki. This is a very good ban. It's not directed at Aramori or anything like that. It's just overall a very good ban. We have a ban onto Psylocke, which is interesting. We have a ban on Storm. This seems very targeted at Speedy. Yeah, Speedy is very good at flyers, so that's why they're kind of banning him out. This is a good save onto Luna. Oh, actually, the Cloak and Dagger. Interesting. So we're looking at some sort of dive with the Cap and the Cloak and Dagger. We see this meta starting to appear more and more. Diving in, we're using Cloak and Dagger's blinding cape or whatever it's called, the blinding wall. Basically 28% more damage players take when they're hit by that wall, so it's a very good ability. And we see a save on Loki. They actually let Loki go through. This is kind of scary on the side of Sentinels because Loki is so good. Then we see a group ban on the side of Sentinels. Or root ban on the side of Envy. The UI always hurts my brain sometimes. So we're seeing the Atom. We're seeing Res Comp come out.
Hurricane, but we are playing on this other patch here after nerfing the team up, the Omega Hurricane, the amount of time
That's
it
fine.
takes to
Dom
get
res
the
comp is
Hurricane
very good.
online. So now looking at where we're going to be able to roll out, Speedery's got other tricks up their sleeve, and it's the Wolverine that may be rolling out here.
So again, they're going Rocket,
On the Wolverine Speedery, though, taking that spot for now.
Raccoon, and
You know,
Penny
sees that Black Panther. We
at the beginning of the match to get the team up. And when you get the team up and you place the little generator, you get 50 bonus HP opposed to just rockets, which would give you 25 HP. So at the start, we're starting with 50 HP on the side of Sentinels, which is a pretty big advantage. That's why I said it's so important to place that down.
as we head into Wakanda for match one.
And I will say, on Wakanda, res comp is very good. For Jeff speed boosting, very good.
Foreshadowing if we do see a Black Panther to play here as teams going in, and we've got the teams locked.
So we do in fact have res comp with the cloak and dagger, which again, very good comp. Then we have the
Prowling about, waiting for Sentinels to move up from this
we have Wolf and we have Punisher, pretty standard compositions.
over to your team over by Envy. Kaluchi taking a good amount of damage. Nectar though with that boost, that power from My Amazing being on the Mantis.
That's interesting. Rye Amazing isn't on Star-Lord. So in this scenario, when you're versing a res comp, so when you're versing res comp, you either want to quickly mirror the res comp, or you want to play counters to it, whether that's Hela or Winter Soldier, things like that. This is how you counter res comp, is with Hela and Winter Soldier. Or you mirror right away. You cannot let it drag on. The mirror has to happen right away.
With that copy, and Nero too, Nectar actually rather good to be able to get protected here from Techie and the bubble of the Magneto.
Just radiant from the skies, great patience there from Nectar trying to get something rolling, but Nero keeping everybody alive, dropping the beat and trying to keep the
We
team.
do live there.
Now spreading that eternal bond and getting the pressure out. That's going to
You get the pick onto Luna and the pick onto Punisher. That's very good.
double from the Terror Cape and Cloak.
Very good, very good.
Look at these cameras here too. They are indeed together. You can see the land set up right behind them, playing out through this match as they take another team fight win. Nectar going crazy.
Yeah, we got to mirror faster, like instantly. I mean, Psylocke is also a very good pick into res comp.
They've been playing together so long to see this team together and show off right away. Beautiful as we take a look at both vantage points here. Kurova
I'm surprised Rye Amazing is on Mantis.
the purple rain if he chooses to do so. Pal, the only one with the ult on the other side.
Will say though.
The saves look like here.
We're walking out Punisher ults. We don't really have any counters except for that. So we are going for the res, and we're probably gonna res and instantly Mantis ult here. We don't. Okay, that's fine. I mean, that's fine. I guess they didn't want to take the fight right away, heal up, then go for the fight. We'll probably look for Mantis ult while we go for the Star-Lord, or we'll just pop Mantis the fight on the point. We're already at 95%. So it's already very good. So we are going Luna. We almost have Psy. We almost have Mag. And we also have Agamotto. Unlucky Eye. We are going for an aggressive portal right on top of them, which is surprising. I like that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we have to, on the side of Envy, we have to mirror the res comp. We need to mirror the res comp, so how do you do it? Like, we have to mirror res here. We can't let res go out like this. That's why it's such a strong comp. And when we look at the picks and bans, they have the ability to play res comp on the side of Envy, but they're just not playing it for whatever reason. Not really sure. And again, if the quality looks so bad, it's nothing on my end. It's literally on the side of Marvel Rivals. But we do see one counter come out for the res comp. We see the Hela. This is very good into res comp, because basically the whole point of Hela into the res comp is shutting down each part of it as quickly as possible, and the best person to do that is Hela. Or you could even say Hawkeye if you wanted to, but Hela is definitely the better pick here. Because we have Loki, so we have that team up.
Map one there as we have Nectar now picking up where they left off there, putting the pressure on early. We have Aramoy Kurova with the sustain. The ults are charging up and out. Speedery though and Month have what they need online. Let's look to see if they can get early aggression.
Ult economy, we have Psylocke, we have Copy. We're probably gonna Mantis run through. That's what we're doing. Almost have Star-Lord, Adam as close as well, so we can play for that. I mean, it doesn't matter that we get a pick on Star-Lord because he just reses. If we get a pick on everybody here, he dies, he reses, and we're looking for the Adam res probably. That's why we go for the super fast characters to burst. We didn't necessarily need to use res there. There's a little bit of a misplay by Kurova, but I think it's fine. I mean, we get one res out of it. And it's just like guaranteeing the win, Hindsight, was it a good idea? Maybe not, but I think using it there is perfectly fine. You should be able to build it up pretty quickly. In terms of ult advantage and economy, Envy's looks a lot better because we have that Luna straightforward. I guess we kind of... I never am a fan of using Capel to push through. I think using it more for sustain is a lot better in most cases. Especially because we don't have any strategist ultimates ready, except for Cloak and Dagger, which can be hit or miss. But I guess it's fine because we're kind of rotating the ults well enough. Decent eye. He doesn't have res, so that's a very good pick. We should be looking to fight and die on top of the point here for Sentinels. The fact that they capture or got it back fast enough, they didn't get the stall till 90, which isn't the end of the world, but 87 is still good. In terms of ult economy, I would say Envy has a little bit of a better ult economy, or strategist ult economy, because we have to copy with Luna versus Mantis. But we do have res back into Cycle, which is very good. Our passive for the res comp is probably close to coming back. Kurova should probably be looking the res and building as quickly as possible here. We could Mantis ult and W key them, but we're kind of not doing that. It's a good clobbering time. I'm not sure if the Mantis ult now kind of wasted. I don't think we should have Mantis ult there. That was a very questionable Mantis ult. Like the guidesman? Yeah, appreciate it. Glad you like them.
Just trying to even out the stakes here in terms of percentage.
That's exactly
Joss 76, appreciate it. I'm glad you like them.
I mean, the perfect play, 65% Speedery knows the assignment.
I'm glad they help.
Down the Golden God, and he does just that. Now looking into this next fight though, Vicky, you've got the eye.
Sentinels have ult advantage pretty heavily.
Not the goodbye again. You're sending you back. Maybe Kurova though in this next engagement with Nectar using the
No value really though.
Back in this fight. Nectar is closing in the distance, needs a little bit of help with the Freedom Charge before diving back into the back lines of Envy, but Nero was waiting, has the fate of both worlds, and Month had already used up the
Fly over, I have Agamotto, very good.
Finds the back line on Kurova and Amazing, which means you won't be able to revive just yet unless Kurova can get into a good position to revive themselves.
Probably gonna res.
This is the skirmish that I expected between these two top
Yeah,
teams. It looks like
I mean, that's kind of the downside of playing res comp.
Here comes Clobber in time for the cleanup and the combo. And can Cal get this important pick here know what's going to be Nectar trading in return. Amazing now getting the pressure on. We have portals out. Techie trying to get the team back to it so they can get in. And again, that's just a
Good portal. So basically what he's doing here. What? Oh my. What the? This guy is frying. This guy is Himothy. So basically that portal, what I was trying to explain, that portal in the position right here, circle, is because the healers were positioned high ground on the top right. And because we have the LOS here, so if we look at the point like this, or how to explain this, the point looks like this, right? This is the inside of the point, the outside. Because we're at the high ground and we portal, we break LOS, so we can't heal the players on the point because of the portal. That's why we're portaling there. Essentially another wall. But again, Envy has to mirror, like, you just have to mirror res comp. Like, that's all you can do. Because the counters didn't work. Hella, Psylocke, it didn't work. So we definitely needed the mirror then, but they might not have res comp like practice, so that's unfortunate.
Hats off, buddy, but yeah, 9k damage there with Kurova, 12k to follow that. The team played great. Envy did well,
good though,
especially on that second point, but it was too little too late. They want to look to clean up a bit of what they can do there with the Vanguards, but they shut down Speedery. That's the first step to success against Team Envy.
And the issue with that is Speedery doesn't have to worry about getting 1 or 2 picks in that case. It's about having to worry about getting 2 to 3 more with the revival too. So aside from the reses that you have to try to chase down these individual Adam Warlocks, these Star Lords, these Mantises.
And that's what I hate. Res comp is like so cheese, but it's so good at the same time.
Pressure in your face.
Yeah, absolutely, just directing the fight. I mean, we've highlighted this, whether it was the MRI and everything on the line. I said, man, this is one of the best teams with the res comp, and that was when it was meta. But now they added the Black Panther comp in this new dive edition, but they also have up their sleeves flyers that either Nectar or Rymase.
I'm not sure where Super Golan's is. Maybe he's taking a break or something.
To going to Mantis here and kind of the new Season 2 Mantis that we have, giving them more flexibility, we can stack up the buffs, stack up the healing. There's so much strategy and just top-tier play with triple res at this level. Insane job from the entire team, highlighting Nectar here, 21k damage. Insane.
And that's with supporting Nectar with these damage boosts from Rymase, who also put in like 10k damage just themselves. Combine that with an Adam Warlock sniping your face with a 9.4k damage. Nectar was enabled all the way through here, getting 11 final hits too.
Yeah,
Sentinels looks pretty good on res comp, I will say. But I'm glad you like the guides. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
They end up winning because I know. Just imagine just the eruption of joy there. Or knowing then they're all locked in. They're like, that was business as usual. Let's carry on. I want to highlight again, Aramori, her rivals within rivals, 4 Sentinels was Kaluge, and they just did a great job at it.
And that was with the protection on the Cloak and Dagger and the Captain America. So finding those protects on what you prioritize is how Sentinels is leaning. So it's all about how Envy is going to try to counter this in the pick and ban phase.
Yeah, and I wanted to highlight, we've been giving Crimzo his flowers a lot, but also he's a lot of the brains and the coach behind that team, right? And so to be able to just win so heavily in that pick and ban phase, they did a good job there. We'll see if they can do it again. Envy, they picked the map, they picked the mode. We're going to be right back after this short break.
Yeah, so we're probably gonna, I don't know. I know Envy likes Bast, a Bast convergence map, because it's a good Iron Man map, it's a good Torch map. Besides that, I'm not really sure what Envy likes to play. I haven't studied them that much, so it's kind of up in the air. Again, the quality of the stream is just so bad. Maybe Twitch looks a little bit better. Let's see. I'm getting ads. Oh wait, the Twitch quality is so much better. Sorry, I didn't know the Twitch quality was so much better, unfortunate. But yeah, like I was saying, when it comes to res comp, there's a couple things that beat res comp. Maybe to stream. So when it comes to res comp, there's a couple things that beat res comp. The first thing that beating res comp is mirroring res comp, so say that. The res comp, to beat it, one way is to mirror it. The second way is kind of like what Envy eventually adapted to, and that was Hella Psylocke, which was good, but it was kind of bad execution on Envy's part. Another way is flyers, but they banned out the flyers for Envy. But besides that, Winter Soldier is an option. Besides that, I think Envy has the mirror there to win that map. I mean, it's fine. Not the end of the world for them. They might be the better conversions convoy team. I'm not a fan of domination in this game, because it's not necessary domination, or it's not necessary King of the Hill either. I don't like how Dom is played because it's very coin flip, because whoever wins like the first fight of the Dom map, like if you win first fight, you should win the map, or you should win the point for like the entire time. Because you win the first point, you should have your ulti for once they come back, before they have their ult. And it's kind of just a snowball or domino effect, and it's a very coin flip to who wins those maps. So I'm not a fan of domination in the game. I think there was better ways they could have done it, but with what we have, I think it's fine too. It's my little spiel. Yeah, I'll turn this into a YouTube video.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back. So far, Vicky, the playoffs, they are living up to the hype. And right now, Sentinels, they did not just team fight. They assembled like they are in person. In the boot camp, we saw it go from in person into the game. Insane first match there.
Yeah, man. The Guardians of the Galaxy coming through with this res composition on the Mantis. Nectar going absolutely crazy. Crimzo popping off, only like dying twice. This team is looking great, leading to their strengths right now.
Yeah, directed from James Gunn himself. Just great job from start to finish. You know, and if you're Envy, you know, we've been seeing Mantis bans that handle the triple res. Maybe they go that direction, but, you know, that's not against Kurova, so maybe they go with the Atom. I don't think Sentinels is going to change anything. Crimzo, yeah, Crimzo only dying twice is just so much insane pressure. And then you've got to deal with everybody coming back and then focusing on where Kurova is.
I think the best way to shut it down is just to ban Atom.
Work the exact same in this next game mode. Domination is, I would say, the best that triple res does play on, so maybe they do adjust, maybe they don't.
Yeah, I'm wondering what second map we're going to be moving on right now, too, because if you do want to get that focus ban, Kurova being that, like, #1 Atom Warlock player, you know, you can try to toss that already out the window. We know that Amazing has a plethora of different hero pool to work on, and to work with, rather, and seeing now Crimso's survivability, the Captain America, also highlights why they saved that pick.
Yeah, and like, listen, we saw Techie. They lost. They got out. They came back swinging. And Envy, I know that this team, they scrim a lot. They practice a lot. They have so much going for them. And if you're just now coming in and you're watching maybe the group stage and the playoffs, you might be like, okay, you know, I haven't seen a lot from Envy. This team was on a run for the ages that we've seen within Rivals so far. And so just, it's crazy to see the results thus far. And we could get a FlyQuest Envy lower bracket first round.
That would be insane, but I'm not surprised with the way that playoffs is already onto the start that we have thus far. FlyQuest falling down to that lower bracket. Tech EXD smiling, seeing Sentinels taking game number 1 in a best of 3 is very important to highlight. We have to keep reiterating this coming out of group stage, where at the very end of a lot of our final matches, they were best of 5. See the ban hovering over the Emma Frost, because even if they do want to...
So we see the Emma Frost ban, pretty standard. We see the torch band for this person right here. That's the reason why we're banning it.
Love the callback to Amazing's game on Black Panther. Now they're just all floating it and they're locked and ready as we've got our first save on the board.
We're saving Emma.
This time around, it looks like they're going to go and swap things over to Emma. Definitely a smart play there, Speeder, although hovering it, not going to play it. But I like the change up at least here.
Now gonna
ban Mag, save Mag. Fine. So we could probably play Punisher comp or...
on the Captain America, wouldn't be too surprised.
Never mind.
Yeah, Master Magnetism.
If we save this opens the idea of dive comp.
I love it. I mean, just seeing Captain America take what?
For Sentinels. We're banning Loki. Again, this is a very good ban. This is good anti-dive, I must say. So if Sentinels does run dive, we have options to shut it down, which is good.
And he's here to play. I just think it's so great to be able to see that.
Typically when you save Captain America, you're probably going to save like a Psylocke or another dive character. But again, this is fine. They might just save like a healer. So the reactionary ban, because we also ban Storm, is banning the Psylocke because we're looking at a cap possible Psylocke like dive, dual dive, which is kind of like what the meta is right now. Is the dual dive or just like the poke heavy comps.
Great talent. All you gotta do is shut down their best player to really open up the rest of the field, and that's what we're seeing here.
We are see a Punisher save.
The Punisher save though, I like it.
I really also think it's interesting to consider.
We're gonna have to save Mag.
Has not been banned a single time before today. In our first series, though, that's
has to be Mag.
Saw it. Now we get to keep seeing it being a tradition. It looks like that.
Or not? Wait, I'm dumb. Yeah, that's right.
Really strong duelist players that know how to play to those strengths. And now the Magneto ban here.
Yeah, triple.
It always hurts my
They like to get rid of some of the key
brain.
houses and vanguards. I like the Punisher, you know, because I think they might.
So we lose Mag for both.
Got, you know, the source of damage to
we have Emma.
Walls potentially is the route they're gonna go. But the Wolverine, the Groot save. I think they're gonna go with the Groot save, and that's probably smart. They've got the Punisher though, to go against that. And so in reverse here now.
That's a little odd.
Options. You can go with any of the key strategists if you want to float that.
I'm not sure why we saved Groot when we have Punisher. This is a question.
Okay, I like that option, because if you let the Emma Frost go by out here, and then you have to consider like the Psylocke together, mental projection.
Yeah, I don't.
It's a lot of burst damage coming out on top of the fact that you have to worry about these Groot walls and the Emma Frost kick combo.
Yeah, Nero getting 70% accuracy for Luna, combined now with the 24 seconds of invincibility. That's going to be tough to match.
Yeah, this one's a little questionable.
Out there, but hey, Crimson knows what he's doing under the coach seat there. I think they're going to adjust to the fly comp. Right Amazing, we saw this before. Right Amazing loves to switch over to this Ultron instead of.
But we're playing double hit scan into that.
Talk about the flexibility from Amazing. If it isn't the Black Panther, the torch up in the sky. You got another flyer out here being on that strategist role. Ultron as we move over to Convoy for our second map.
Yeah, I mean, Asgard's a fitting spot. Look at the way the poll has tipped now. 70%, leading 27, hanging on there for Envy in terms of predictions. And hey, right now predictions, they mean nothing. We've seen that before, but so far so good for Sentinels, and we'll see if they carry on. Asgard, though, is where a lot of gods battle. We have two Goliaths, two rival gods going at it as we kick things off. Now, first team here.
So we have Sentinels on the fence, Envy on attack.
Together with Amazing, you saw the Ultron, you see the torch. Techie also trying to match that.
In terms of team composition, Sentinels looks pretty good. We have Cap, Groot. Side of Envy, we have Emma, Groot, good synergy with a Wolverine, Star-Lord, Loki, Luna on the side of Envy, which is very good. To the Sentinels, we have Cloak and Dagger and Luna. So we have different variations. Loki was banned for Sentinels, so that's why Mori's on C&D, which is still pretty good. The fact they let Wolf go through though when this is on the map is kind of weird to me.
That a strategist when in the hands of Nero, especially on this map. I've seen it time and time again. Cal a lot more lethal here on the Wolf as well, but gonna make it honestly hell for
We're already TPing. So this is 3-minute cooldown now. Let's write it down. 3-minute cooldown.
And building into that strangling prison here too. Window though goes crazy with these group walls and with Speedery, even with just 15 HP, just trying to hail from above, but you can't deal with that when you have to worry about the Eternal Bond from Aromori.
Yeah, great group hug there, but unfortunately unable to get everything connecting, and the portal back came in handy. Cal has a lot of pressure on him now with 3 Vanguards. Can he get the kidnaps that he needs? Can he get the damage out there? And can Amazing stay alive through the onslaught that is going to be Speedery on Star-Lord? Crimso getting that early pressure. Love the Captain America play into this.
As really quickly here, the strangling prison though, the wall from the other side, but the Eye of Agamotto is the insurance policy that they needed to find 3. It takes care of Cal and Speedery in the process.
That's fine. So we popped Grudelt and we popped Dr. Strange, but we used copy on Luna, so this is kind of a wasted of an ult. That was kind of a waste. I'm not really sure why we copied. I understand why we copied, to protect us from the Grudelt, but this scenario, like, I know that they have Doctor Strange, so I don't think it's a worth change. But Emma ult.
The coach that he is, he assembles his Avengers as he pushes forward now, and they're gonna match the Groot ult back. And can they get the eliminations with the Berserker Rage open out? But no, Nectar gets the melee whip into Logan.
Off to the face of the Nectar. They provide enough of that output here to deal with Cal, and now you have to worry about the heavens because Speedery is hailing from right above Amazing's head.
If he dies fast enough and Crimso can stall, we might have another TP up.
Crimso can probably get back there. They don't have a portal. Crimso running for his life, but
no, we're swapping to Torch.
That's gonna be massive. Just trying to line it up right. Look at this, the fire beret. Okay, they're gonna back up here. Let that first cap go. They've got 3 minutes now to get the second one. Not an easy point.
I don't know. He might have had TP again. I don't know. We're in a Torch now. We might swap off Cal off of Wolf to Hela. I think we swap Hela here.
Window has got that imprisoned entanglement coming up. This is going to be
I think we change Wolf for Hela, even though we kind of need Wolf to deal with Groot. I think if we get Hela, we don't have to worry about the double flyer as much.
Just in case, and to get enabled to with the boosted power of the damage output here with the Luna Snow.
This definitely is a swap. Really, we realize that, right?
They've got to have a fire extinguisher at the boot camp, but because Nectar is just absolutely popping off.
We're not swapping.
On the torch, shutting down Kalush as the ult begins. I mean, that is rough waters.
Like, yeah, Wolf is nice into Root's Captain America, but I just feel like we need Hela for the flyer. What?
In terms of the extermination now to follow up, that was off of a month, but they have the delay now as Nero also has the Fate of Both Worlds just to start with this re-engagement, and that's going to be the counter.
All the flyers fly down to the C&D ult, so none of them die to this ult, or should. He already has another Torch ult. Oh!
Did someone call for a fly swatter? I mean, I know it's the summer, but Cal coming in and the follow-ups from month to get.
I mean, that's the rare exception it works, but again, I still think Hela in this situation's a lot better. Even though, again, nice into these tanks.
the entire team to play on their back.
I feel like double fires being more of a problem for them than they realize, even though that they have Star-Lord.
They have nothing in the bank. Kurova getting close to the fate of both worlds. That's going to help them stall a bit, but he's got to farm it.
Oh, before jumping down though, having to reset real quick as Amazing looks to their back together with Kurova, who does have that fate of both worlds. The Psionic Seduction though coming in allows Kurova to keep everyone from Sentinels alive here, as Envy don't really have their own strategist ultimates to work off of this extermination. And Month goes down after getting so close to the God of Mischief. This is going to be a team fight win in favor for Sentinels.
Just so much to handle at once. You've got to deal with the fate of both worlds, keeping the entire team up. Amazing up in the sky with extermination going on full DPS mode. Forget the healing. Let's just put the pedal to the metal, trying to now snipe out.
Again, I think we should have swapped Hella like recently with the double fire.
If they want to have a point in a match.
I don't think this Star-Lord is getting that much value.
Less than 5 seconds now on the clock. They have to make their moves here. The portal is going to be able to come right out, and you can see the setup already with the Frost shield before diving in, but they don't get there on time. And that was up for the diamond form to try to get the choke immediately right through the portal, just in case to touch a toe on that point.
I mean, honestly, just completely shocked. Sentinels, they look like they're just playing perfectly in Envy. I mean,
Yeah, this is what I was thinking. I think, yeah, this was the swap I was thinking.
Yeah, there was a lot of times though that they were calling out Cal being on that Wolverine here too. So I feel like combine that together with
I think this is a good swap.
What we basically saw. That's the playmaking ability.
This is also fun, but I think we just go Hella.
Condition that really wasn't able to get much done.
Yeah, and listen, Envy made it all the way up through
What
the
is
upper
happening?
bracket to then go down to the lower
They doing
bracket.
goats?
I mean, for them to go down to lower brackets twice, again, this could be it for us to see FlyQuest and Envy, one of those teams not making it to land. I think both could have been favored to go of the 3 teams. This is already
We're doing
something
goats.
different than what we've seen in the making as we look at the stats.
So
of Nectar.
basically,
I just cannot commend him enough of
on
the effort that he's
this
putting out
map,
Dude, 3 spots
Loki
only
Convoy,
for Americas to make it into land.
basically the whole idea is to literally hold the attacking team at the door, try to get 3 fights. So you fight, so you fight right at the door for as long as you can on top of the cart. Everybody dies on top of the cart, then you portal back. 1 fight is holding the door. You wipe, TP, that's 2 fights, and then by the time the second fight ends, you get wiped. They should be able to make it for a 3rd fight right before it caps. It's kind of what the meta is right now. It's a little annoying. I mean, it's a very good strategy.
Yeah, showing off those diamond forms and how it can carry hard as now Techie getting eliminated fast and the team having to reset. Great opening and confidence here from Envy as Crimson trying to get away. They get the stagger there as well.
In terms of like how to beat it, I don't know because of what the healers on Envy side is. You have Luna, Loki, and Ultron. Might be impossible to break this.
Vanguard to hold the front line to control some of that space.
Yeah, the first strategies on the last point there looked like Atalu trying to pilot this team using. Oh my gosh! Oh, okay, Nectar trying to get the pressure in early.
What?
And everybody in the room, this is not what we want to be.
They're fighting for their life. The copy though allows the reset at least for right now. The peel from window right behind them after
that should never be happening. Healer should not be in that room. Too far from your tanks to help.
This team is very solid on defense and just absolutely putting on a clinic for defensive efforts here as both teams.
You don't know what the terminology is? Basically, this comp is called goats.
He does get the pick on Nero, now looking for the Loki.
They have to expend everything though, while you have to worry about collusion, the psionic seduction from the front lines. Now Urumori moving in with the eternal bond.
Diam point, Diam point, Diam point, Diam point.
Eternal bond and the follow-up together here with Techie, and they didn't have to
So now we swap to Doctor Strange and we TP back as 6. That's what you do.
Yeah, full commit there, full belief, full control. Great job there getting the first bit of the point, but man, 2 minutes now remaining. We've got the portal back, potentially the run back, and this is going to be a tough fight here, but Sentinels have everything they need here. They're going to go maybe instantly into the group hug. Groot, it is, yes, and the Supernova. Nectar rains down, all the ults coming out. Nero trying to keep the team up. The beats are dropping here for both teams. Let's see which one lasts longer as the headliner, Vicky.
I was gonna say, don't swap off that healing output because Nero was taking so much damage from Nectar right there too.
You have copy.
One Nectar backs away in time. Here comes the copy with the Loki instead. It is this time though, it's not in the form of Fate of Both Worlds. It's with the extermination here on the other side as the follow-up here rather from Speedery. Looking at Monk, who still has that copy available. Looking at Sentinels, and now they're gonna be able to try to stay alive.
So this is like what I was talking about. This is the second fight.
Nectar is doing a great job here, even though he was just eliminated by the former Sentinel in Colluge there. Now we've got Window who did just ult to try to get some momentum rolling.
I really hate goats with a passion.
Extermination coming out here, trying to get that back elimination. Dude, they do get the lantern.
No, what do you do? Amazing, you gotta shoot from the grid ults.
You keep trying to take these flanking angles with the extermination. You force up these lamps, but now you have no sustainability with Amazing being the only sole support alive.
Yeah, I mean, they give Amazing that permission to be that DPS Ultron, but yeah, in situations like that, you definitely need a
And you look at the timing, you look like we're only at 80, we're 80 away, right? We're 80 seconds away from having another TP, so if they were to get some type of fight, we could, it goes overtime. There is a world where it's overtime. The cart is still pushing and we TP back for a third fight.
A strangling prison, both from each side, over these walls, over the damage output, the dance off between that and Nero Cow getting stunned just temporarily. It's the matchup between Crimzo and Cow, and Monk is about to get the reset on the God of Mischief.
That is a massive pick.
And at this point, they're kept alive as overtime just has a sliver on it. There's gonna be one more fight for this though, Vicky.
But they can't find Cal because they can't get off the point. Overtime taking away as the Envy may look to re-engage.
I mean, my gosh, somewhere a graphics card just gave up. There was so much pumped out there for this last bit.
You touch, right, Cal?
Ticking down.
Cal?
See Envy, the red line, the outline as they push in the group wall. So nice job, but they get the touch. 3.82.
What? Literally just a few little meters away. Overtime now taking away as the re-engage comes out, but they've lost out on Cow, who was the first one there. The group wall's put up here by Techie, just trying to box out Envy, but you have to consider the extermination from Speedery now. It dealt so much damage. Techie needs help, but
good eye.
There's those strategic ults to keep Sentinels alive.
Not just overtime.
God, I hate goats. I mean, they won with it. I hate it so much.
Guys, we had so many 2-0s. How about some 2-1s? And we're into it now as Envy get a great win off, and this is going to be close, Vic.
1-1.
Buckle up, everyone. We're out here for a ride. I expect nothing less when it comes to our playoffs week here, Cozy. And it looks like we really are going the distance now. 1-1 situation between Sentinels and Envy.
Just insane. Just composure.
Such a gross comp.
All 3 Vanguards, 3 supports. Who needs a duelist? Everybody's locking duelists in competitive ladder. Well, here with Envy, they're going to share the love. And it's crazy that they were able to get the eliminations with no key combo, no key damage output. Looking at it, look at Window's performance, Vic.
Dude. 3 Vanguards, 3 support. Window with the group with 34,000, 7 final hits, like the 52,000 damage blocked. I mean,
Window again. I've seen this man pump out some crazy stats on Groot and the flexibility. Again, Colluge, we've seen him kind of swap over to Mag lately, but he is such a good Doctor Strange. We saw it right then and there as the team just fully felt. Kind of, they were feeling like themselves.
That's goats for you.
And it was at the hands of the Vanguards this time.
And this is with swaps, right? Because I believe
it's kind of what we're seeing in pro play evolve to. Especially on convoy and convergence maps, which is a little sad, but I mean it works. It wins you matches, so good. I don't know. I like seeing duelists personally. Gotta do what you gotta do to win. Guess it's fine.
I gotta give it to Envy when they did get out of the group stage, it looks like they definitely try to go back and come up with some new comps and new strategies. And my gosh, look at that beautiful Hagamoto there from Kaluj. But yeah, got to hand it to the team here. Definitely got creative to put up a nice counter. And if you're Sentinels, we just saw this in the grand finals. The team is all together, but we just saw the reverse sweep happen, right? We've seen teams come back against them. They come out with great momentum, and then it can go right back to them as we look at the MVP.
The Speedery show indeed. 22 KOs there, 26.4k damage output here too. But Speedery even flexing over to the Ultron, understanding what the game plan needed to change. Kaluj had done something similar. We saw the Emma Frost originally before swapping over to the Doctor Strange just to re-engage, boost up that Eye of Agamotto. Beautiful follow-ups here, allowing Speedery to shine. And I also feel like making those adjustments, this is what I love about Marvel Rivals. Making these changes to then recontest, having the time to recontest. All these little things, they work together to make this work in your favor. Now we get to go the distance for a Game 3.
Yeah, I mean, that top play, that's when coaches come in handy. That's when really just the experience does. And, you know, we talked to Tech, and they're like, we didn't think we would win, and we did. These teams, they expect to win, right? And you know that they want to make land so bad. And so both these teams just leaving it all out there. The ride in the upper bracket certainly a bit easier than the lower, especially when your opponents can be FlyQuest, Techie in the upper. But hey, they're no slag off either. We saw what they can put out today. All I know is match 3. This is what you want in the playoffs. You guys aren't going anywhere, let's face it. But we're going to take a quick break to reset, reload. We're going to see you in just a second.
Pretty solid match, though.
Remember the dusk, the lights gripping tightly, trapping all those fighting souls. But yet, across the world, I see you standing in my way. And remember the time, the place we used to fight, like the sun and moon. And I wonder if ever there was a time that we were friends. The night has fallen, shadows looming, and yes, that time has come for me to seek you out. We are set now for our last reunion. Break the chains, find your way, come find me. Do you remember who you really are? Show me that you are still the only one for me. I'll be waiting for you. Wake up, open your eyes, raising up your fists and smashing through time walls. Before the rift winters again, we are rebels till the end. Rise up, open your minds, hold on to your powers. No one can stop us. We are rivals till the end of time. We will flash, no matter where. We will fight, reaching across time and space. 'Cause you are my destiny to the end. You see the dawn, the flames burning brightly, shining on those memories. And yes, across all time I see you turning the tides. And do you see now our time, our turn? We can still fight like the wind and fire. And wonder no more, that now is the only time your heart is mine. Light has fallen, darkness grows, and yes, we fight for our destiny and fate. New days smiling for the past and future. Break those chains, lead the way, fight with me. And when you wake up, open your eyes, raising up your fists and smashing through time walls. Before the rift winters again, we are rebels till the end. Rise up, open your minds, hold on to your powers. No one can stop us. We are rivals again until the end of time. Show me that you are still the only one that matters for me. I'll be waiting for you. Wait up, open your
What's going on, guys, and welcome back. I mean, to open up the playoffs, Vic, we've got two 2-1 matches, and this is exactly what I expected to see here because of how good and how these teams are and how small just the errors between them are. For me, personally, what I saw there is one team in Envy able to adjust well mid-match, whereas Sentinels, they really go into the match with a great battle plan, but a little bit tougher to get things going mid-match.
And the MVP touch from Cal too, like on that Captain America, just allowed a whole re-engagement too. So that was insane in terms of the timing. It was like a 0.3 meter touch, and that is what completely just changed the course right now of this series.
Yeah, and with only best of 3, right? It's like momentum now. Again, we said this last time, but both teams kind of know what it takes to get it out of them, and they allow triple res this time around, and it's just not as big of a threat, right? Because it's just different on the game mode. And yet again, we head into Central Park, kind of bit of a mirror for the maps that we've seen so far, but this one always just has so much stakes to it. The grand stairway, the first point.
All right, we're back.
It's got it all, and I'm excited to see these two teams clash with it.
And this is also a really good map when it comes to the group, right? And Techie, yes, we highlighted a lot of window, but Techie blocked like 72,000 damage in that last round. That also highlights the damage output that we were currently seeing from the triple Vanguard, triple strategist just lineup. But Techie obviously being able to work around these group walls too.
Yeah, and they've been letting Nectar have Human Torch. This is such a good map for them. Like, I feel like that wasn't in their game plan. So it has me. I'm going to be curious if Envy, maybe they allow the Psylocke, although that's another good map for the character. So it's going to be tough to see what they go with in their game plans in it. All I know is they're great at adjusting throughout it. And the Vanguard level of play was near perfect on the side of Envy. Here's the thing with Sentinels. They didn't even play bad, too, Vicky. They played great that last match.
Yeah, they did. I'm thinking, like, honestly, man, is today, like, just me seeing, I've always known, but me seeing the issue of resets of Loki and the lamps against just being able to stay alive consistently. You have to worry about Nectar making some swap-ups, whether Nectar was on the torch, whether we could even see, like, an Ultron just mirror in this example. You have to still deal with these lanterns, and it's just so much stall potential.
Yeah, you know what? That's a great point. I think going into that map, that was the first thing I highlighted. I'm like, wow, they just gave Nero Luna, and they're going to have Luna Loki to go with. That's such a tough... I mean, no one wants to go against that even as viewers going competitive ladder. It's tough. It's tough to go against, and giving it to one of the best at it, not easy. And so I'm curious to see if they... Sentinels go a bit less kind of speedery, duelist focus with their bans and kind of more, okay, let's shut down some of these big threats here. Maybe not get rid of the group, whatever it might be, and go with the Luna ban.
Yeah, and are you going to try to keep the Psylocke out here, but then you still have to deal with the Loki? That's why on the opposite side, like, we're not able to see Sentinels utilize the Loki because it keeps getting banned against them, and if it's not the Loki, it's the Psylocke instead there too.
And one thing I know is that this is what I love. We had so much talk going into this week of what we might see from these teams and who might rise, who might fall, and it's just so early in the scene in these teams. Now, what's cool is Sentinels in their boot camp, not only off the win, they can have that electric high that they had, but also they can kind of regroup together, and that's massive to come together as a team and talk with in person. Changes the game here, as Envy obviously going to have to do it, overcomes, but they got the job done on that map. Central Park, though, is going to make the difference, and I've seen Envy play great on this map against a lot of teams.
Yeah, and I feel like we've highlighted, the strength of certain picks that we've seen with these heroes, whether it be the Torch out here too, as well as the Ultron maybe as well. Psylocke being able to have a lot more of these flanking routes. That is also goes hand in hand with the fact that if you do allow Emma Frost to go through, you have the mental projection, so you have even more poke pressure in that sense if you're on the other side, and you could see Envy who have prioritized that Emma Frost too.
Yep, guys, this is Rivals at its best. This is what you've come for, the playoffs. This is the fight for land. All these teams want it bad as we head into match number 3. One team is going to be sent to that lower bracket to go against FlyQuest. The other
Central Park.
Advancing to glory in the upper bracket. Central Park is the
Torch,
location.
Nice little pit stop here to see who will be moving on in this playoffs bracket that has completely thrown everybody around here with game 3 situations. This is what I like to see. A high-level Marvel Rivals play as the Emma Frost and the Torch are the first to go.
Standard.
Yeah, sticking with
Save
the
Emma,
strategies
ban
we've
Emma.
seen, speedery on Torch on this map. You might as well
Probably ban Mag.
Shut that down right away now with the
Mag ban.
one going to Magneto, obviously. Getting rid of those two Vanguards.
Probably looking at a Vanguard.
This is going to show us a lot here. I'm curious with what they go. They're going to just stay.
Probably Loki.
It's been working thus far for the most part.
Is the second one. I'm not too sure if it's going to be Punisher this time around, or maybe
Loki,
it is,
Loki.
considering the fact that when you're on Central Park, it's a lot more of that verticality to get out of these line of sights here. So
Give
the
me
Punisher
Loki.
may need to do that final blow with the final judgment just to create
Pretty
space.
standard.
Also looking at the other side, the next man is gonna be the Loki. So
Probably
once
a
again, Sentinels
duelist
unable
or a
to Loki.
strategist
Yeah, this
for
is gonna tell the story
Sentinels.
here, dude. They're gonna go Storm again. It looks like they're going the double kind of speedery ban route. And then
It's
that's gonna open up
insane. They're
things
just target
later,
banning
now
Speedly.
giving Envy the chance here to respond.
I
to
mean,
save. Yeah, I'm curious if they're gonna.
fine. I mean,
kind of the same game plan as
Mag
before.
save. You could have.
And getting that
What
access
they
down the
could have
window's gonna help
done.
them a lot here. Last ban,
I mean,
I don't
I
think it'll be for the
instead of
triple
Psylocke,
res.
I think they could have done Mag here.
Don't think
A
it'll
Mag
be.
ban.
Maybe they're gonna go with the different route.
So
Last time that they did go, I believe, with that.
they wouldn't have Emma, and they wouldn't have had Mag, and I think that would have been fine as well.
All right, so that's the one difference maker. That means that the Punisher still on the table too for them
Root.
to utilize, since it was the torch that was prioritized.
We're
no doubt
probably
about it, as the Groot is gonna be the next protector, and this is what I was expecting, especially in that first
Punisher
point when you're
ban?
trying to hold it down. That Groot, those walls just allow so much separation and damage output and pressure when it comes to trying to isolate your tanks out of the line.
We're
of sight.
banning for them. I think we banned
Little
Punisher.
nod there, little Easter egg for the long fans of Sentinels. Roy Mazing used to play an absolute
Okay.
disgusting
Okay.
Moonknight. I've made a guide with him. I mean, he was so good at the hero in season 1. I think it's more of a tip of the cap to Conchu than it is what we're gonna see. But hey, with the buff, who knows? Maybe it's a hint for
Res
what's to
comp.
come. But triple res is going to be left on the table, and it looks like we're getting just that, Vicky.
It's a really good point. This is what allowed Sentinels to really shine within that first map, although on Domination, we know that res composition really comes through. Now, can it do the same thing, though, on Central Park is the question.
Yeah, I actually like this a lot because, you know, obviously Dom is where it shines the most, but for this first cap, just getting that
Yep,
extra bit of
res
life
comp
and
is
passing
good.
from it, really going to help them out here.
It's very good
with
here.
just overall momentum. One team is out, the other is in the upper brackets as two Goliaths clash here in Central Park. And look at the prediction.
Wow. Okay, so this is the tightest we've probably have seen thus far now, introducing the chat predictions. And guys, we are just a split right now looking at the outcome of these last two games. This has been absolutely insane, but the favor going towards Sentinels, just missing 1% shy of 60.
Yeah, listen, both teams have just about equal chances. Both have been here. Both have shown what they have in terms of talent, roster, strategy, coaches. It all comes together in one clash in just a moment as teams get things rolling here. Listen, not even rivals can handle the anticipation of the importance of this map, Vicky.
Now, maybe not even Dracula's Castle out here, too. I love this map, too. The music always makes me jam out. I'm like, who is coming out, throwing out some bangers on this opera solo? And getting set up with such an insane matchup right now between two tier 1 orgs to vie for one of the 3 spots in Americas to perform at LAN with the prize pool that we currently have is insane.
And listen, guys, like I said, this whole Rivals map is just trying to prep for what's about to happen here. I mean, there's the graphics cards are getting ready. We just saw it with all the ults. Again, it's like a unicorn just exploded on screen with all the ultimates and the chaos as the game tries to get itself ready to rock for this elite matchup. But hey, pick bans, all that, Vicky's going to stay the exact same. So we know the story going in now, and the story's the same as that first map. It's going to be triple res.
You know what I am afraid of, though? The Psylocke was allowed for Envy. So Speedery will be able to be on that Psylocke together with Kaluj on this Emma Frost was what we were worried about with the poke pressure of the mental projection. Now being able to find its mark. When you have a matchup like that, the res comp, you can't just do it once. Obviously, you have to keep going at it just to make sure that you could win not 1 fight, but like 2 more fights after that.
Yeah, I'm curious if they're going to, because Sentinels are on defense first, so I'm curious if they're just going to have the triple res for this first kind of hold off, and then as things kind of escalate, they're going to switch and then go into some different comps. But getting rid of that Human Torch this time around, it changes a lot of the strategy, right? Amazing going to that Ultron, Nectar, you know, hovering on the Human Torch. It shuts off, for the most part, that fly comp, and so they're going to have to adapt in different ways. I don't think it's going to be the Black Panther. I think maybe that was just kind of a one-stop shop we saw in the group stage, but either way, it's definitely going to make things a bit different here for the team.
About catching people off guard and it starting in this pick and ban phase too. Of course, we already saw those pick and bans originally before diving into that game. I'm expecting it to stay exactly the same before we finally get started on match number 3. But it's heating up, and you could see it. You could see it in Sentinel's faces. You could see the way that Envy's been able to play, adapt around this, and be flexible.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, like I talked about, you've got Kalush, who was on that team, all right, and one day gets the call, and Envy, they got their man. They got who they wanted there, and, you know, it's tough because what has impressed me so much is this team that was kind of this core 6 since the Alpha Sentinels. They were together. They were Nightmare. They had so much practice together, but now you enter in Techie, but not only that, you enter in the replacement who was Super Gomez into Nectar, and as a sub and performing, you know, amazing. And I've got to say, you know, Super Gomez, big shoes to fill, Nectar doing just that. So it's been crazy to see what, you know, the stakes are for this win outside of just the upper bracket.
And Nectar, they've been really good too at just trying to not only adapt around the different comps that they got to throw around, whether it be on the Star-Lord and having to perform like you highlighted in that first game, but also just being the shoe-in that they need. If they need him to flex over to something else, you know, they're right there to do so. And seeing together with the fact that we are going to be playing at Central Park, more of those closer range alleyways to try to approach to that point, that is going to allow a lot of things to happen. And of course, that's why you're seeing the Torch off the table, because playing against Torch in this map, it always feels like you yourself are in the microwave.
Well, he's the ultimate pressure cooker, right? Outside of just a microwave, also just a pressure cooker in the sense of this
probably my last one before I have to go.
Right? They just
do stuff,
the whole time, and they got that point so fast. It's when you start to kind of
I guess we're just waiting for the match to start.
To get that point
I'll turn this into a YouTube video, I think.
To come out here just, you know, guns a-blazing. They won't be able to blaze in the sky. They were Speed Ares, Human Torch, but they have a lot of other things in their tool belt.
I'm also surprised the respect over to the Storm, them like using a ban against the Storm, against Speedery, when we know Speedery has other options. Combine that with Cal, who will come out probably on the Punisher if you expect to fly around even with Star-Lord up in the skies or putting in the pressure, because then you would have to waste what, like a mag bubble on the ulting Star-Lord. Hopefully Star-Lord could get right back down, the strategist ultimates come in, help the reset to happen, and then the final judgment comes out. Burst through the bubble, is able to burst the Star-Lord ult, so that's probably going to be the retaliation, because we didn't see a Punisher ult for Envy to worry about.
Yeah, and you know what? Kind of like with Techie, how we saw Tap open up Avery's play and then Avery popped off. We got to see that from Cal if Envy does want to get the job done here. What they did so great, and it's funny, same map, so we can talk about it situation for situation. What they did great is they eliminated some of the best strategists in the game in Cooper and Vest. They got, or not Vest, but Cooper and Zelos, they got rid of them every single match, every single fight, and they're going to have to do the exact same thing to the insane duo, the deadly duo of Kurova and Aramori. Guys, you've waited long enough. So have we. One team's gone. Our voices are definitely gone after today, Vicky, as we head into Central Park.
I think I said get ready, buckle up, because for real, not only are we out for a ride, but so are our records. But that's how you know you got some good Marvel rivals to cast. We got some 2 good series already to kick off the playoffs here in the Americas. Game number 3 for our second series. And again, that's just halfway through the day already.
I can't believe we're only halfway through this thing here.
And Sentinels on attack, Envy on Envy on defense. It's flipped. Yeah, that was confusing. So Sentinels running res comp on attack, that's fine. Res comp with main heal, C and D, you have a lot of damage output. You have Cap Mag versus TNT. He's gonna get rolled right now. Not gonna lie.
And Sentinels, even though after losing out on Kurova, though, Crimzo is out here to play.
Yeah, and again, what did I say? The pressure.
He just gets rezzed, yeah.
Captain America do best. He absolutely cooks when it comes to the kitchen, right? So great job there from Nectar in the follow-up, and just the first point collapsing fast here in Dracula's castle.
Oh, the rocket actually like just breaking right apart in front of them before getting right back to the safety.
Got the TP off at least, so maybe we can win this. I don't know. You have C&D ult out.
I mean, you can't step off a pinky toe on this point as the defense holds. Great job from Window getting that team.
That's the one good thing about C&D ult is like, I mean, how fast they were able to retake space after.
As a silent but deadly approach here, it's a
Didn't really matter though here.
in this case, and everyone's staying alive in the eternal bond. The psionic seduction now looking to the skies.
Good
as
seduction.
Nectar gets caught in the line of sight after trying to use a legendary. Still continues going, still looks to the back.
I didn't like that Psy ult.
As Nectar still at the very end is still finding that pick onto Speedery.
Huge defensive effort there from Kalush, but Nectar in the neutral still able to get
Nice.
the job done. As Gale goes up, he goes down, and he's
Oh, born again.
But there it is, Kurova with the born again, getting his Avengers reassembled. Crimso at the helm.
Off the ice,
And they're all back.
there too. Nero, good attempt right there. Speedery backing away instead because Sentinels, as you mentioned already, just one of those.
That's why the res comp is just so strong and super long sustained fights. That's why you pick characters like I was talking about, like Hela, because they thrive on taking picks, right? Res comp is about long sustained, long drawn out fights, trying to use the cooldowns as long as possible. And when you have a character like Hela, like Psylocke, that can do quick eliminations, then it's a little harder for the res comp to get value. But Sentinels play res comp so much that
going over to the dagger, Speedery does find Nectar in the process of overextending, and Amazing does have that Mantis ultimate.
that was a really far overextension. Good cap ult. It's a full wipe. Nice. The thing is, though, I mean, we popped C&D, and we popped Roots, but we didn't pop anything but cap ult here, so it was a 2-for-1 ult trade, which is fine, which is very good for
Very important to see when you could get right back into the fight just as fast, looking from both angles.
That was very good.
Up on this high ground, Techie slowly moves up, being on this Magneto, having that meteor ready to go, but so does Speedery on the Dance of Butterflies. The legendary up to the sky is going to be able to force out the fate of both worlds.
Yeah, perfect timing for the ults here as Nero does counter that. Kalush is ready and locked to get the combo in. Nero, though, about to run out of that. Here comes the kneeling of the peasants. Can he get any connections there? Trying to find Nectar up top. Nectar hiding away. Kurova with a huge pick on Nero, though. This is going to open up the lane.
Oh, and as the Armor getting caught by the meteor here, rather Mark getting caught by the meteor. There was a double internal bond used from both sides as the survivability is in favor for Sentinels. Kurova with the res won't even be needed until the next fight engagement, and it is Envy now falling down.
Cannot spell clutch without Techie. Insane job there as they get this first wraparound. Probably the hardest part of this point. Obviously, there's going to be at least one more fight. They also have access to the portal yet again. So maybe two. Speedery just trying to get something going. But those cloak bubbles, the timing, the strategist perfection that we see is happening time and time again. Here comes the Rampaging Cow with the 3, followed with Speedery.
And then the follow-up though coming in, but a huge res. This is everyone's biggest fear when you see the res cup coming in from Kurova. The Adam Warlock player sending everybody to charge on their behalf here. Amazing gets Window. They shove all of Envy inside the side room.
Just insane, rewriting Destiny. The script said L and he picked W, but Count Speedery still putting on a show, and Speedery showing why he's so clutch in the duelist position, going off as Psylocke.
That was so big from Speedery because Speedery had the Dance of Butterflies, saw the res. Instead of getting overzealous and press the button, waited for everyone to go in front of their line of sight before pulling the trigger here. As Nectar now with the legendary once again forces out the fate of both worlds. A meteor needs to find its landing here as it misses.
Nero able to escape Techie, who's been so pinpoint with those meteors. This has been a clutch performance, defensive-wise, ultimate-wise. Cal is going off. That was the missing puzzle piece we said that could carry this game and win. Kalush trading Speedery as well. There's going to be no resurrection this time.
Getting good again.
They're going to have to do a full reset with only
The res comp.
seconds left.
Less than a minute on the board, and you still have to worry about the Psionic Seduction and the last stand from the Wolverine. This is gonna
Good
be
shutdown
difficult
by
for Sentinels,
Envy.
but they
They're
are
making some
not
good
the eternal
adaptations
bond.
with it, though. That's why
Just
they're
a
winning.
ballet of blades over there from Speedery. Insane job. Cal has yet another ult that can just single-handedly get the job done. The Berserker Rage, you just do not want to be caught in it with everything on the line. This is land on the line, the upper bracket on the line, and it's the kidnap to Nectar. What an insane start.
There goes the Eternal Bond, though. The Psionic Seduction 2 from Kaluch to start things off here. Over to the other side, Krova does have that res, something to consider here as Kaluch falls incredibly low. Now you have the combination of the ultimates and Oromori there with the Eternal Bond coming right out of it. You have to consider the Dance of Butterflies that you also have to worry about, but Ryan Mason comes right back with the res.
He found Kurova, but Kurova's the one that gets the trade. Speeder, he knew what he needed to do.
Who's standing up there?
Gets both Guardians down. Kurova left, but Kurova with the 1-2 tap.
Who's standing up there?
Everything was unleashed in that moment, and right when the overtime was taking away, Kurova was there with the clutch.
Oh goodness, that was so insane. Board again, win again, insane as Kurova is now able to hang on to this and get the res, so they've got to not only deal with the res, but also the passes that are ready to lock and load. Techie now trying to get up this, or trying to prevent this now. Absolutely insanity from all these teams together as all of them have their ults ready to rock.
You already know the way that Groot is moving forward. You have that Groot wall coming up. You have the Strangling Prison ready to go, and everybody is forced to funnel in together. Unfortunate positioning for Amazing. Even better case for Speedery, but the Born again comes in to try to win again as Kurova comes in with the rest of Sentinels assemble together with Crimzo on the Captain America ult as they try to range forward. And the final gear too with the fate of both worlds. They have to land this Magneto ult from Techie. He does it this time around, point blank in Nero's face.
LeBron James slam and throws, but then Kalush gets the kickoff and into Techie. Both Vanguards down. The job was done from Techie's in, but my gosh, what a response from Envy.
Wait, Kalush right now? Time is of the essence. You have to jump in right now. They can't just right here. The overtime takes away. Nectar with the res just allowed the overtime. The Strangling Prison. Nectar single-handedly with 1 HP at least forces us into overtime, but then you have to worry about the Dance of Butterflies.
Oh, like, this is perfection in the making. Kalush showing the carries as hard as a diamond form. That is from Emma Frost as they hold strong from what looks like pure momentum, pure destiny for Sentinels there. Insane job.
How this is an insane game right now. This is crazy with what we're seeing. I am not surprised, but are you not entertained?
The rim was still shaking from the slam dunk of Techie, and somehow, at the last frame, I saw the Vanguards up in the air from Kalush. You could not, that kick had so much importance. That kick alone could have gotten them into the upper bracket. Job's not finished though. Now they're on the, now they're having to change things up and see what they can do on the offense side.
Emma Frost is the reason why this hero has been banned so many times. The command grab into the kick from the choke slam, the follow-up.
17 finals. Holy.
When you are on that specific point, right before the third checkpoint on Central Park,
Res Comp will definitely do better on defense. I think Res Comp is, like I said, better on defense. When it comes to convoy and convergence maps, it's also good on Dom. But when you're attacking, it's a little bit harder. Because again, defending, you're all about sustaining and trying to live on the point as long as you can. With the res comp, that really enables that.
For them here on the other side of this.
I think we're still running the same comp for attack and defense for Envy, which is fine. We're looking for a kidnap. We have the jump.
Before trying to jump over on the other side.
This is for money, this is for legacy, this is for lands. Sentinels, they're all together. They're in the boot camp. Can they hold strong here as one, as both teams now starting to form up this old Nectar now about halfway near though to match.
Cal managed to get away though, right on time here. Month is slowly approaching that Eternal Bond in comparison to Aromori. Kurova, Amazing too, just holding this back angle right by the pillars to help get any sort of peeling.
Yeah, just like the Guardians are so good to push forward and have double lives for defense, it's even harder. Envy has to be near perfect as they were in the last match to get things rolling here. Speedery, again, trying to get rid of the biggest threat on the field. That's Nectar. Nectar now trying to get away to that health pack. Is going to claim it. That's going to be massively. They've got the Echoes to pop out the offense. This is going to be close, and it's going to be... Wow! We're just...
No.
On the run. How?
No way. No way, but Nectar gets caught out. Speedery got healed from the Luna Snow. It looked like at the very end. The mental projection also dealing a good amount of that damage output too with the help of the team of the Emma Frost. Right there, though, they're able to take it here on the other side before the portal comes out.
Incredible. 1 health on each. Don't know how they did it. And even with the portal just right there, it's going to be Envy that gets that cap, and they get it fast. They have 5 minutes left. They've got 3 ultimates to go into this with Speedery, who's the deadliest on the team. He's got his ult, the dance of the butterflies to get that backline pick. They got to watch Kurova, 73% on that res. Amazing. They've got the passives. This is going to be close.
Cal getting to position right now. Nectar now into the skies, about to have that legendary. Found out Cal, who's forced to drop down to the low ground here. Here comes a legendary from Cal as they hail from the damage output here. No kidnap here from Nectar as he avoids Cal trying to contest them. And now the Eternal Bond, the Strangling Prison, bringing all the Sentinels together.
I mean, Envy does not want 3 losses in a row. Sentinels don't want back-to-back reverse sweeps. One of those are going to happen here as Kalush is pushing forward with the Psionic Seduction. We've got the up and the down and the slam dunk once again on Nero. This is the same that we just saw, but as we see, Speedery going on with the dance of the butterflies. No connections, but Nectar trading instead.
And better here for Sentinels after pushing up with the Mantis ultimate too. Finding pick after pick is Amazing and Crimzo as a dynamic duo.
Just look at the calm, cool collection of Amazing's face. He has not even moved an inch here with so much on the line. Kurova, he's in his spot. He's in the res spot. The golden god, the man, he's done it 100 times. He'll do it again. Let's see if Speedery can find him.
Now coming in with the Wolverine ultimate, Kurova with the res ready to go. Nectar, by the way, with another legendary. Talk about the damage output. Tries to get the kidnap again, misses out. This is literally a game-winning situation that Cal needs to land. And here comes a legendary that comes in because the kidnap wasn't successful.
Yeah, both Vanguards down is going to force Kurova to get the reses up. He gets 3 with that. Again, born again, win again is the motto. It could be a 5-minute hold. They have 3 minutes left. Nectar trying to get that poke in the neutral, and they used a lot. Envy now only with Cal's ult. They do have a group hug coming up here in just a moment, but it's not going to be right now as both stagger. That's a massive win there for Sentinels.
Chipping away at the time bank that Envy currently have. Less than 3 minutes. That's how you start things off. You get desperate to try to re-engage the Eternal Bond now from Envy to hold forward to try to capitalize off of Crimzo getting the first to get taken down as our Amazing answers back with this Mantis ultimate.
Yeah, Sentinels using everything in their tank. This isn't the fight that Envy's going to win. They just need to sustain and then win it back with the ultimates that they're gaining now. And there is the Groot ult coming from window. And they capitalize. They do get Aramori, who does trade with Nero. That's going to be a 1-for-1. And there is the Psylocke ult. And Techie just trying to grab air, but he can't as Kalush finishes the job. And at this point, the pressure continues. And oh my gosh, got in the symbol from Crimzo. And he fell.
He did right there. And the other side there too, you have to think about Amazing who's trying their best with Crimzo going out without the freedom charge. This is just now built up momentum for Envy to try to claim this next checkpoint.
The saddest Infinity War movie you've ever seen. I mean, just the sim and then nothing comes from it. Window with the block off there. Beautiful job as Nectar, who just seems to be farming these as like an ability. Another legendary up in the sky, but we do have Techie raining down. It does not connect. That's huge for Nero.
And it is huge. That deletes the opportunity for that win condition to allow the Psionic Seduction instead and the sustainability to keep them in this fight. But so does this with the res. Welcome back, Kurova says here. Techie still taking a good amount of damage. Amazing was so close to that Mantis ultimate, using it despite Kurova going down.
The Divine Revive, he does it again. Speedery able to get that hit off. Kurova is going to come back.
SOS, help Mantis. The damage output's too much to deal with here. Although with Envy losing out on Nero and Speedery, this is the opportunity to lose out on Month next here too. Mori coming in with that Eternal Bond as Cal just continuously keeps slicing.
It's crazy right now. Envy's playing near perfect, but you have to get rid of 4 different eliminations. You have portals, you have res, you have passives. There's not much more you can do. 5 minutes now has dissipated Vicky into one. One team moving forward to the upper bracket.
This looks like a whole circus, the way that we're seeing both these teams juggle to the highest level right now between the passives, between following up with these ultimates. As you can see, Crimzo up on this high ground with the Freedom Charge ready.
Legendary, there's nothing to match it. This is going to be huge. It's going to, there's nothing that can match. There goes Cal. That's a huge pick, and there's going to be nothing but a cloak bubble to try to keep things going for this team. Nectar now trying to get the pressure on. 30 seconds left. They're all just trying to hide at this moment.
That's literally game-winning first pick, by the way, because Cal goes down without using the last stand. Now you have less than 25 seconds. It's a forced reset, and Sentinels back away.
Okay, we've got Speeder and Cal viewers with the ults. You have Nero now going to the portal. He's going to get everybody on point. Window can collapse with the group hug that they can get everybody into at once. They have no support ults now. They probably have passives. Kurova close to that point again. We'll see how long he can stay in this fight. Amazing is going to be right there too. These picks are going to matter. 3 seconds left. This is the fight. This is the fight for the legacy.
And they use the portal for a shield to start things off as a Dance of Butterflies is activated first. It's found Techie, it's found Nectar, and now they have the number advantage in their favor as Crimzo goes down next. Yes, you get the respawn opportunity here, but they have nothing to deal with this group hug. As you mentioned, Rymazing gets a Mantis ult at the very end, and you're still using it to stay alive to keep Nectar in this fight.
Absolute chaos here in perfection as Kurova's coming back. Month is thrown down to 0.99 meters. This is what you've come here for. And Ignite living up to the name and a fiery finish. Cal getting the pick there on Rymazing, but Born Again, there's been time to get that back. Absolute insanity as everybody's here. Techie can get the huge back, and he does.
Oh, and the Nectar follows up here too. No sustainability off, no bond here from the Cloak and Dagger. You completely annihilate that. Overtime ticking away. Sentinels down to the wire. Hold them back.
5-minute hold. Celebrate. Call it destiny. Call it plot armor. It's done. They advance in the upper bracket, taking.
So Sentinels goes to the upper bracket, while Envy goes to the lower bracket, which is actually insane.
I need to see it. That was absolutely insane work from Sentinels.
But anyways, that's gonna do it for me now. Back maybe tomorrow streaming, not too sure. Also a Vanguard Masterclass coming Saturday.